Nice of you to join us. What was your request? Can you? Oh, you can't get through to our live stream text, can you? Are you?
You can drop text in the debate discussion now.
Are you talking tonight, Pepe?
He's just said, remember, I won't be talking. I'm here to write down Beb's proof that level is horizontal.
Ah, well, they're on the website, Pepe.
So he's a coward.
We've got a website, onthelevel.live. We've just launched it.
Don't be a coward.
So, what is he in? The debate discussion? Is that...
Yeah.
He's not talking. Okay.
No.
Is that because you haven't got a mic, or just because you don't feel like talking? He can't hear us. Oh, no way. He's not talking and he can't hear us. Oh, that must be bad. You can hear us on the live stream. I'll get the Discord is acting up. I'll find you the... don't worry, Pepe. I've got you. Got you covered. There's nobody on the server. I'll reply to that one, okay?
He can hear us now.
Okay. Can you hear us? Sending you a tweet. I'll put it out as well. Live now. What are we going to say? Not talking to. Would that be okay? Is it all right if you call you a globe lover? Talking to a globe model lover. It's because it's just the model in it that you love. Globe model lover. Live now, talking to a globe model lover. Hashtag on the level. On the level.live. Right, so you came here to write down some proofs for level being horizontal. Is that right? Because I haven't come to talk, as I've said. I'm here to write down the proof. The proof of level being horizontal. Well, see, level is horizontal. As we went over it today with... Who did we go over it with? It's quite a few people, right? Going over level being... Brad. Yeah, Chunky. Brad, the science guy, who admitted he didn't know anything about science. That was quite good. Yeah,
that was clever.
It was just a name, right? Just the name he decided to write
Professor
down.
Dave.
Yeah. And
Bob the science guy.
The main surveyor. All of them. They just write the names down. Brilliant.
Write the names, yeah.
That's correct. See, Pepe says that's correct. I like that. We like it. People just write names down. Now, when we have a page, can I put that to you? Let me see if I can get that on the website. We have a page called onthelevel.live evidence room. And can you, in the debate discussion box there is onthelevel.live evidence room. Now, if you go there is tons of quotes for level being horizontal. And it's pretty logical. You've seen it. Oh, well, there you go. You can write them down. That'll keep you going for a bit, Pepe. We'll just chat amongst ourselves for a bit while you write all of them down.
Yeah. You'll be there a while.
Yeah.
There's quite a few evidences in the
Explain
evidence
the
room.
logic. Right, well, we were going to go over the whole Logos logic thing. Or do you just want the logic of level being horizontal? Because, I mean, the Logos thing, I don't think that's a... I don't think he'd get that, would he? Anyone want it? Like, Cleary's not here. Cleary particularly wanted to go over it.
Let's wait for Cleary
Yeah,
before we do the Logos.
we went to the Logos thing with... the logic of... see, we'd have to start off, if you want to be taught the logic, first step would be to understand your model. So you have a problem. Should we just do the... We'll skip the level one, right? We'll do the model paradox, or what should we call it? What was it? Do you want to name it, DP? Do you want to give us a hand? And
What, with naming it?
yeah, the model. I'm going to be drawing for a bit on the board before I click the camera.
This
over.
is the this is the one where George contradicts Goon in the same Zoom room meeting, and they don't even realise they've contradicted each other. Is this the model we're talking about?
Well,
I get so confused.
It's like the model paradox, right? That they have to go through. I mean, it's going to be quite hard. Just the proof, axioms to conclusion. The axioms, what, of the Euclidean geometry? I'm not so sure you know what you're talking about, Pepe, right? Right, we go in. I'm going to put the video on, but I bet my camera's not switched on. No. It's almost as though we didn't really prepare this, Pepe, isn't it? Almost as if like you've just decided you want something to happen, but I mean we're okay with that.
We can do it on the fly.
Yeah,
we don't mind that.
So I'm just getting my camera working. I think it's going to be the wrong way round for you guys, is it? Or is it going to be the right way round?
Hang on, Pepe's putting loads of stuff in.
Wow.
Just proof, no axioms to conclusion. Yes, you start from the axioms and you work your way up to the statement
You start with the
that level is
definitions.
horizontal.
Does he not know what's going on first? You start with the definitions. Come on.
Pepe, so them.
Pepe, yeah.
Something. Have you got to be somewhere else?
There you go. Do you like that?
Just sit down, make yourself a coffee.
Right.
Chill,
so,
mate.
Pepe, this is going to be a bit hard work, but hey, we'll go with it. Can you see this? Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see it. He says he can see it.
So we've got Pepe on model 1, and then we've got that's a bit, you get it though. Do you like it, Pepe? You like the two models? This one is, we're calling this the Kozlowski / nutsack model, and this one, this is horizontal, and this is called down / away, and this one we're calling this the Mattoon / Bislin. Now this one has... Oh, that is too much, isn't it? I don't have to do that. It's making a ridiculous of your model. That I can't do that. That's too much. It's ridiculous. There you go. That's much better. So this one has a horizontal like that, and then you have to imagine a water level. This guy has a water level, and it goes like that, and this guy has a water level, and it goes like that. Now, this distance here is 8 inches, because this distance here is 1 mile, and this one here has a distance here of 2 inches. I'm doing your maths for you. You're alright with that, Pepe? I know you speak up if I do anything wrong. Fill in these water tubes up here. So this is also 1 mile. Now, Pepe, have I been stood in the way there? Oh, do you like this t-shirt?
Wow, look at the t-shirt, man.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did that arrive?
Today.
Oh, Pepe hates it.
Oh, what? He doesn't like my t-shirt.
Wow.
Do you like the thing on the
What is
back? Could you read the back?
Yeah. What does it say?
Space.
Kex.
Space is just the distance in between physical objects.
Wow.
And level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
What's the part you hate, Pepe?
Is he like this or the t-shirt? Which one of these models? I bet it's one of these models, isn't it?
I know the back. He says he hates the back of the t-shirt.
Oh, space is just the distance between physical objects.
So what do you call the distance between physical objects then, Pepe?
Yeah.
Have I become like Pepe's voice this evening?
I think so. Yeah, that's okay. You can speak for Pepe. He gives you that,
Yeah,
right?
well,
He doesn't want to speak for himself. So Pepe, DP.
He hasn't heard anything. He's not heard anything resembling proof yet. So I think he's bored with the t-shirt.
We have to get to the which model.
Yeah.
Which model for Pepe?
And pay attention to Bev, Pepe, because this is quite important, this bit. Because you need to make a decision. Yeah, 2 models here. This is the Kozlowski nutsack model. that sounds very good. That's catchy, that, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Kozlowski's nutsack.
Yeah.
Kozlowski's nutsack model. Yeah, I like
Now,
that.
in this model, the water level drops away and down, right, from the horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared.
Hang on.
That's a curvature.
Hang on, Bev. He's asking, why are you talking about our models, though? I want proof that level is horizontal. What does this have to do with that?
Well, the proof comes in here, right? Because you have one model, 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. Kozlowski and Nutsack say that. So on one model, this is the drop over 1 mile. But on the other model, you have level like this. Well, that is actually horizontal.
And he has actually recognised that there is more than one model in his statement. He's asked, why are you talking about our models, plural?
Yeah.
So he does recognise that there is this problem.
In this one, the level between these 2 bits on this model is actually horizontal. I mean, you may not realise it, but the point to the point, 2 points, join the 2 points, straight line, horizontal, with a 2-inch raise in the middle. So it depends which model you have, right? The Kozlowski nutsack drop of 8 inches. Well, that one, right? This is horizontal here, and I guess you'd call this eye level, wouldn't you? I mean, you call that eye level on that horizontal there. So that one has a horizontal level, and this one here, obviously the eye level is going along there on a horizontal, and even from this side to this side here, that's a straight line, because that's perpendicular to one in the middle. So either model, really, you do have level being horizontal on both. So I guess, do I get 2 proofs for level being horizontal on 2 of your models? I mean, this curve on both of them is imaginary. So did you get that down, or did I go over it too quickly? Do you want me to slow it down and do it again, Pepe? Can you?
He's just typing.
Check for him. Yeah, see what's going on.
How is this a proof, or how is that a proof? Could we start by defining what proof is?
Proof through geometry.
Through geometry, yeah.
Logical process of a logical argument using geometry. Yeah. No curve.
Okay, so how is that geometry?
How is what geometry? There's a straight line here for the distance, and then the rise and the drop is a distance, and then a vertical distance. So what we do is we measure horizontal, because horizontal, like this is a level. Now if this distance here is a horizontal distance and there is 0 vertical distance, that means that geometrically there's no slope.
Right. He says, okay, so how is that geometry?
The slope is the best you're going to get.
What you have
is a
just
slope
done,
not geometry?
Your claim is that level is horizontal because our supposed model says so. Supposed model.
No, level is horizontal, like you just wanted. I gave you 2. You've got 2 models, both that contradict each other, haven't you? I mean, this one doesn't drop away over a mile, and this one does drop away. So you've got 2 models there, both that contradict each other, but both of them have a guy that has an eye level that is horizontal. So that level is horizontal. This curve here and this curve here, completely imaginary. So the level that you see, the eye level, is that is the horizontal. Curvature is imaginary.
He's typing. It'd be a lot easier if you just sort yourself out with a mic, Pepe. Really.
You see this? The missus got us a cup today, look. Can you read
Can't
that?
see it. It's a bit dark, mate.
Bit dark.
What's he saying?
It says, "This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will." What shape would you put to it? Your world, Pepe. It was a joke, really. You see that? Yeah. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will. What shape?
Right, so if I wrote down level is horizontal because the supposed globe Earth models say it is, would I be correct?
Supposed globe Earth model? What? Is he supposed? Is he just lost his model? He had two before, and now they're supposed.
He has put supposed globe Earth models.
Oh, so these aren't your models. This is Jesse said this. We can definitely get that out for you. George Nutsack drew a picture of it.
No, you suppose these are the models?
No, this is what Jesse said. Do you not? Does he not? Jesse definitely said that.
The picture is not a model, but this is what your surveyors are telling us. Well, your surveyors and Jeff and Goon
Nutsack
have said.
I'll get you the picture for us. Put it in the thing. Surely
this hasn't come from us, Pepe.
Yeah,
this has come from your team.
Mick West did the measurements as well. He's not throwing all of that stuff under the bus now, is he?
Oh, Pepe, I think he is. Yeah.
Oh dear, Pepe.
He's chucking everybody under the bus.
Yeah. I'll find that nutsack one for you, Pepe, because I mean, it was very nice of him to do that.
Everybody, turn your volume down. Clear his ear.
Boom! What's up, people?
Well, look, we're just working through. There you go. Kozlowski's Folly. We're calling that one. There you go.
Hey, what's up?
Kozlowski's Failure.
Yeah. Pepe's. Pepe. I think Pepe's trying to get rid of those two models.
Right. Could we get proof more similar to this? And he's sent a link.
Yeah, Pythagorean theorem, right? He wants something like Pythagorean theorem. For what, Pepe? I mean, like that's Pythagorean theorem, right? Right angle triangles.
I want a proof.
Yeah. Well, there's two proofs there. That is wrong. That's a fallacy, right? We are knocking them away. Start from the axioms
and develop them to the statement. That's not proof.
Oh. Well, what would you consider a proof then, Pepe?
Pepe doesn't talk.
Yeah, Pepe. No, he sits there at the side. He wants to write down this proof.
But
he's not happy with them. He doesn't like these.
Stephen Hawkins had that little speak and spell box. I feel like that box for Pepe.
So, what is it exactly that you want? I mean, I dropped
something in the live stream that you can put out on Twitter if you want, Bev.
Okay. I'll have a look.
I don't know why everybody's so scared to come in here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. What do you reckon about that, Pepe, right? One of your mates says that level is tangent to a locally horizontal plane.
A proof would be you starting from Euclid axioms and going your way up. Going your way up. Yeah? Until you get to a statement level is horizontal. Is true. Going your way up.
It's perpendicular, Pepe. I mean, this is very, very basic stuff. You get there in the definitions. Now, do you need a proof of the definitions within Euclidean geometry? Is that what you're asking for?
Babe, your volume's a little bit low.
Yeah, it's because I'm moving my mic around.
Mm-hmm.
The definition is not proof, Bev.
No, the definition within Euclid is perpendicular. And do you think that doesn't get proved, Pepe? Or do you think that's not true, that perpendicular is two straight lines? It is within the definitions. So, back to the Kozlowski nutsack. Have you decided which one you want yet, Pepe? Because it helps for us to give you, we can give you a more refined argument if we know which one of the models that you particularly, personally, subscribe to.
Can you give them an A and a B, maybe, Bev? So model A, model B, so it might make it easier for his selection.
Yeah, because it gets hard, doesn't it? The one on the top.
I'm not here to decide. I'm here to listen to you explain the proof. Well, we need you to make a decision as to which model you support.
Which one of these two models? Model A, the Kozlowski nutsack model, where it drops down and away from your position, or the Mactoon Bislin hump. The Mactoon Bislin hump, or the Kozlowski nutsack drop.
Kozlowski nutsack drop. That's quality.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. The hump.
Well, yeah, the hump or the drop. Which one?
How is that relevant to proving level is horizontal? Look, we need to know which one you back.
Yeah. Because this one, like we keep saying, this one is actually, that's horizontal on that model. So are you saying not that one?
Didn't you just say that Booth proved the level is horizontal? Booth? Or both? Both, maybe. Both. Not Booth.
Oh, yeah. So he agreed with that then? Well, they both proved horizontal. Fair enough. Pepe, write it down. That's 2 proofs to me. Thank you very much. I'll go and make a brew in a minute. So 2-0 for me. Thank you, Pepe.
Have we got any super chats yet, Cleary?
Yeah, we just got one in from the Red Rider. He said, why is this guy scared to talk?
Oh, Pepe, there you go. Why are you scared to talk?
What was that?
Just got a super chat in.
He's too scared to talk. That's why, isn't it? Pepe. It's because I think personally it's because you realise your model is a load of shite. And there's a massive contradiction between the two models that even people on your side have. I mean, like, how big a name within this whole arena is Kozlowski and the Nutsack? I mean, they're big names. And don't forget about Mactoon and Walter Bislin. They're big names. But they contradict each other. I don't think they even know yet. It's pretty amazing. I don't know whether you knew. Did you know that you had such a conflict before you came in here, Pepe? I don't think you're doing that very well. Being a globe defender. The silent.
Another link.
The silent globe defender. I can't see it. I'm on a different one. I'm on a different page.
Let's clarify this. I'm looking for this type of proof and another link to Wikipedia. You think Wikipedia is proof?
Yeah, but Pythagoras, I mean, there's 151 proofs, or maybe even more, of Pythagorean theorem.
But if you want Pythagorean proofs, why doesn't he just go and research Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, Pepe, I think he's already been over, and we've already talked about this. Right, Pepe? I mean, like, we both have done Euclid, right? Obviously. Because, I mean, you're talking about Pythagorean theorem, so you must have at least got to proposition 47 to be talking about that. I mean, then they won't be the Euclidean proofs of Pythagorean.
He doesn't want Pythagorean proofs. I want you to prove that level is horizontal in a similar way to Pythagoras. Pythagoras is proven.
You think it sounds getting a bit angry?
He can prove level is horizontal. Anyone can prove level is horizontal.
I'll show you my the all-in-one proof, right, Pepe? Because it's we just did it the other day. I redid it, didn't I? The full logic thing. I mean, I'm sure he'd love to hear it. He might have heard it before.
He's waiting for it, apparently. Yeah. What are you waiting for?
Okay, well, what we do first, Pepe, is we lay out a logical argument in order to be able to prove it. Because that's what you have to do, right? In the debate discussion. Pepe, I'll put it in the live discussion, then we don't actually have to go in to that place where they post all of that stupid stuff. So we'll stay in here so we can look at it right now. Pepe, this one goes this is set up for a modus tollens, but I mean that's the reason why it's wrote like this, and because it's a much better simplification of the Black Swan. The Black Swan's died a death. I'm sorry to say that, but it's been reborn. The Black Signet is on its rising. It's on the back of a black horse.
Black Signet.
Right, so
the Black Swan may have gotten trampled by the Dark Horse.
Yeah.
So it goes like this, Pepe. It says, if the Earth is a spherical object, P, we'll add the P in because it sounds much better, doesn't it? Then the surface of liquid water must curve Q. Logical argument.
Mind your P's and Q's.
Very well minded. Nobody's had a problem with this. I doubt Pepe will have a problem with it either. I mean, that's a pretty fair statement that antecedent consequent relationship of them two. Antecedent, if the Earth is a spherical object, P, meaning antecedent, then the consequent of that the surface then is very important. Then the surface of liquid water must curve. Now there is a must in there, making it a very definitive statement. So, like I say, set up for a modus tollens. Mainly because modus tollens was big a bit back, right? And when you guys rubbished the Black Swan, well, this is the simplified version of it, Pepe. So, logical proof there, right? So, logical statement is laid out. It turns out that a water level is in fact a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. And then if you see this picture here at the bottom, underneath it has water levels laid out in a certain arrangement, but all of them are in a straight line. But that's because that's the way they're laid out. And you can swap them around a bit. You can move them water levels around, move them in positions to any other position you want, and they would stay at the same level because it's a straight line. It's a proof. Level is horizontal. The water level is a tool for establishing horizontal. And if the water level is a tool that establishes horizontal, and it can be proved with a layout of water levels, then them being on the same straight line would necessarily prove that the water's level, right? Level is horizontal. Now, if level is horizontal, then the surface of water that must be curving can't be curving. So that negates Q. Right? And then a negation of Q within a modus tollens argument means you also negate P. The Earth cannot be a spherical object. So in order for this to be what you want it to be, then what you have to have is a water level being a tool to establish a curved line of reference, and not so sure you have any of that, do you? Because, I mean, it's provable that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. So, Pepe, did you get that wrote down?
He said, again, this is not proof
Is
that
it not?
level is horizontal. You just state that it is. Obviously, you're not paying attention, Pepe.
Is that not geometric proof for you, Pepe? Should we go again?
Do you understand the modus tollens, Pepe?
Definitely not.
Deductive logic. Anything? Does he understand that? There's a difference between different forms of logic.
I don't think he does.
He says he understands the modus tollens, but it's
Right.
not proof.
Oh. So, if we were to do it the other way round.
Would you like us to reverse the modus tollens?
Yeah, reverse the statement, right? If the Earth is a flat, then the surface of water must be a horizontal plane. Oh shit, level is horizontal.
You are using the fact that level is horizontal to say that the Earth is not curved.
No, I'm just saying that level is horizontal. Like, does he agree that level is horizontal then?
Yeah,
Well,
he
he
said
says
the
it
fact.
is the fact that level is horizontal. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
he agrees that level is horizontal.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
well
coming
done.
by.
End of
Pepe.
conversation.
Mhm.
See you later.
It's nice
Pepe.
of
See you,
you.
Pepe.
Oh, right. Yeah. Anytime, Pepe. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
Nice
realise
one.
it'd be so easy. Hope you wrote it down.
Yeah, he could watch this back later too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't even need to go to the other one. Well, that was easy, Pepe. Send somebody else over. I'm just going to make a quick brew. So.
Yeah. Don't leave me here alone with Primate.
Don't be scared. Doesn't matter if I agree or not. I haven't heard the proof, but you've
Don't
just
worry,
said
you're
it's,
safe. I'm here.
said it's a fact that level is horizontal, Pepe.
I agree with Pepe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Pepe.
I concede.
Yep. Don't need to prove what I agree with.
Hmm.
Facts are facts. You can't get around that, can you?
I like that word. Fact.
Fact. Yeah, we like facts.
Now he wants proof. He already has a fact. He wants to back up to a proof now.
He will see. This is what he needs. Really, is somebody now to come and call him a child abuser, like publicly, on like multiple platforms and to a big fan base, right? And then he might be able to go and find the proof for himself.
Yeah.
May just
watch
be the
out.
spur you need there, Pepe, because I mean, you have just said that level is horizontal. It's a fact.
Yeah. Pepe, I'd watch out. They're going to start calling you a flat earther now when you
Yeah.
say stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think Jesse would be too happy anyway. I mean, you should have jumped on the Jesse, the Kozlowski nutsack model.
Hey, GPS, hop in here real quick. I know you were
Was he in the
wanting
chat?
to debate. Yeah. He wanted to go all the way over to the modern day debate.
Modern day
Talk to you.
debates. Did he want to?
You can
Is
come-
that me or you? Wait, who did he want to go and have a chat to on modern day debates? We don't know
Yeah, I
who
thought-
he is.
Yeah. He's over here. Just hop in Discord. We're right here. Just come
Yeah,
on in.
He says we keep running, but I mean we're here. Nobody's going to go anywhere. GPS, pop in.
Maybe he's lost.
Yeah.
GPS, are you lost? Do you need directions?
Yes, he's lost. Oh, dear.
I think the satellite feed must have gone out.
Yeah. No, maybe he didn't book his time, because apparently, according to, was it Jeff, you need to book time on the satellites for GPS.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Paige will be in shortly. Awesome. We're going to definitely need to get into the logic, the logos. Man, this morning, those early morning chats are awesome. Early morning to me. It's like 6 a.m., 5:30, 6 a.m. Everybody's fresh. Your brain's fresh. You got, like, new perspective on life, Started talking about logos this morning. It was awesome. I was like, man, we should have recorded this. It was amazing. Get a whole new perspective on, reality. The logic that they've taken away from modern society. People are walking around like a bunch of zombies, thinking they're on a spinning ball. It's just really cool.
Welcome to 2020.
Yep. Yeah, the whole crowd is over here. That's cool. Is Plague streaming as well?
I don't know. Plague, are you around? Are you streaming?
I don't know. He wasn't around earlier. Maybe he...
No, I'm not streaming.
Yep. Me either.
Just me.
This one's all on you, Bev.
Just me. Emma wasn't doing it. Did you like me?
What does it say? It's a little backwards here. I can't.
It says exempt.
Exempt.
Exempt, yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody should have a shirt like that.
And the back, Bev? Pepe doesn't like the back, but we like the back.
Right, just get me brew. There you go. Backwards.
Fake X. Yep.
Yeah. Space
Awesome.
is just the distance between physical objects. A very, very wise man once said that. And another famous quote. Level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
Yeah. We should quote Pepe with that.
You can get your own quotes on the back of t-shirts round here.
You certainly can. If you can think of a good quote and you want it on a t-shirt, let us know.
Yeah, Pepe, order your shirt today. You're using the fact that level is horizontal to say the earth is not curved. That's great.
That is fucking language. That is brilliant, that one.
Yeah.
Cheers, Pepe.
I'm so glad we haven't heard you say any of that, Pepe. It's good to have a translator for you, though, Pepe.
Yeah. Screenshots, they work. A screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, wait. RC Meisty's back.
Worth it.
Oh, is he?
No, that was you. I'm sorry.
It was me. Sorry. Yeah. Didn't mean to confuse you.
Where's Danger Mouse? Is he gone? Ooh. He was brave. He came in for a bit, though.
Did he?
Yeah.
He likes to come in and just breathe.
Well, I mean, they can watch the live stream now. Obviously, I mean, there won't be that many people watching it, but
we got 13 watching.
nice.
Yeah.
So
13 of the best people I know.
yeah. Oh yeah. The very
Well,
best.
GPS, though.
GPS is yeah.
Oh well, he can come in. Come in, GPS, if you've got a spare few minutes.
Oh, shit.
Don't run off. GPS. Like, don't run away. Just come in. We'd love to have a chat and see your presentation. And we've been waiting for a GPS presentation for quite a while.
Uh-oh, he got banned.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Maybe I'll unhide him. I'll just unhide him. Sorry, Paige. So we can... She's like, get out of here.
Who's pulling rank now, Cleary?
Come back, GPS. Or go away. I don't really care. I've talked to that dude in chat so many times. He doesn't even have a clue about GPS.
No, he wants you to teach him, right? He's always asking you. I mean, he really, really likes GPS, but doesn't know anything about it. So what he has to do is he has to come and ask you, so he can learn things about it.
Oh, it's a sock, she said. Yeah.
Well, the GPS is a sock.
Yeah.
Oh, has he got a few?
All right, I got this thing on here. I can look at it. Hang on. 83 subs, no content. Yeah, that's probably GPS. Who knows? 83 other sock accounts subscribe to that sock account.
Evening page.
A good evening page. I mean, that was another proof we never even got to talk to Pepe about. Did you even see that one, Pepe? I mean, that was quite an impressive one. That Page's proof.
Yeah. Do you want to see Page's proof, Pepe? Give us a yes or a no in the chat.
That works off the rumpus model, right? I mean, I think the rumpus model. I'll have a go at doing that for you.
So what I got from this is level is horizontal because surveyors say so. And level is horizontal because level is a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Yeah, well done so far. I'm sorry, but nothing worth writing down. Well, you don't need to write that down. It's evidential proofs, isn't it?
He came with it. He must already have that. That was his proof, right? It was his facts.
You claimed that you have geometric proof that level is horizontal. But in this
if you guys want to read this, you can look in debate discussion. Sorry, Primate, go ahead.
No, it's just really long and really arduous reading it off my phone.
You should publish this.
Well, where did we get to?
Sorry for the long text. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
You claim that you have geometric proof that level is horizontal, but in this proof,
I haven't seen any axioms or theorems or anything related to geometric proof. If you find anything similar between a geometric and mathematical proof and your proofs, please contact me. Until then, stop saying you have geometric proof.
Why does he not think this is a geometric proof? What's up with this? Does he not think it's geometric? It's shapes, right? What's up with you, Pepe? See, this is Page's one. Rumpus gave us this one.
This one is pure geometry, Pepe. So if you don't think the other two were geometric proofs, listen up.
GPS is over there in chat saying to Paige, you said you could explain how GPS works, which you have never done. It's the same thing all the time. He always says the same thing.
Right, you see that? The centre point is about down here somewhere. In the middle of the...
He says
yes,
you can see it, right? Now, this, you're going to say is vertical. This line. So this is a right angle, which makes this a horizontal. Now, the problem you have is at, say, this point here, where on this line would you draw a vertical? That's a vertical with an AL, not a vertical like a testicle.
Yeah.
We don't want a vertical like a testicle.
No.
A vertical,
Shout out, Brad.
right? So,
Shout out Brad the Science Guy.
What I would do is you get a compass and you put a point, equal points, right? And then you spread your compass out and you do an arc there and an arc there and you go there, and an arc there and an arc there. And then you end up with a vertical there. Does that not... See, that is geometric proof, right? This is a horizontal. Perpendicular to a horizontal is a vertical. Now, that vertical comes down here. Would you call that vertical? I mean, if this was a hill and there was a guy walking up the hill, then that's fine, isn't it? But you have a model that dictates something like that. Now, you'd have to be absolutely mental to say that that is a vertical, wouldn't you? Pepe? I mean, I know you're not going to say anything because you're weak and you can't. And it'd probably be embarrassing for you to actually say these words out loud. That's why you don't want to come in and talk.
No, you're confusing definitions of vertical.
Did he do with an AL? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, the in your model, are you allowing for this vertical to this horizontal? Or are you going to have vertical and horizontal being perpendicular? I mean, geometrically, vertical and horizontal are perpendicular, aren't they? I mean, everybody knows that. And everybody knows that perpendicular is the relationship of two straight lines to another one. I mean, they've got a...
The voiceless one says, I agree, those two lines aren't perpendicular.
Okay, but vertical and horizontal are perpendicular with a right angle. That's what perpendicular is, right, Pepe? Now, I mean, for one, that's not vertical, because you need... That's vertical. It's wobbling.
Yeah, that's vertical, and I'm all the way over in the US.
It's wobbling a bit. Yeah. You don't have to look at it funny or anything.
No.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Paige.
Hey,
We're just going over this, actually. Let's write this down here. This is called...
Yeah, I tilted vertical. Morning, DP.
I think Gently's thinking about coming over.
Oh, nice. So, I quite like this one, Paige. I really do.
Awesome.
I've never thought of using this. I mean, this is pretty basic. And Rumpus does this all the time. So, I think Pepe is so far given up the perpendicular. And this is fine now. Vertical being at, I don't know, what sort of, any angle, I think, Pepe, is the thing, right? You can actually have a vertical at any angle to a horizontal you want.
Yep.
Because what they don't realise is the model that has the curve in it is what's dictating this absolutely fucking ridiculous geometrical argument. I mean, this is a fallacy, Pepe. You must agree, and now, sorry.
Live stream.
Yeah. Pepe, you've got to agree, right? It's a fallacy, isn't it? This?
That is more like a geometric proof. Could you please share where the axioms of geometry, it talks about the vertical on the context of a globe model?
It doesn't. There was, like, it's 2000, Pepe. There's no geometry to support the globe. You don't have a geometry. They
have a non-geometry.
Yeah. Well, they don't even have that. They make that one up as they're going. Brad.
Yeah, as those two
Brad
other models show, they just make up whichever one they want. It's either a drop or a hump. They can't even agree on that.
Well, this one we're calling this one's the Kozlowski nutsack model. This one, the drop.
The Kozlowski nutsack drop, isn't it?
Yeah, the Kozlowski nutsack
drop. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, just the nutsack drop. Yeah. Well, it is the Kozlowski.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have this sort of leaning. But everybody knows you don't lean because everybody turns up here. Everybody on the model, they're all here, even if you're leaning like this, or maybe even upside down. I mean, who knows? But you're always here.
Pepe's gone kind of incoherent now. I don't even know if I should bother reading what he's saying. Just
See, they get you to look at each thing separately. So when they measure anything, you're always standing on the top of the ball. But when we want to see two measurements at the same time, like the guy on the top of the ball down to Pepe down there, and then from that Pepe back up to the guy on the top of the ball, you can't do it with their drop or hump.
Yeah, that's why I draw the guy like this. It's obviously a hill he's climbing up. Because
he's climbing up a hill.
This vertical here still works from the horizontal.
Yeah, that's the vertical.
Yeah.
It's so illogical, really.
Yeah, I mean, Pepe's obviously still got a massive love of this model. I mean, this model, this big curve here with these lines coming off and hitting horizontals. I mean, he does label this line as a horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even Rumpus labels that as a horizontal. That's why Paige came with the other. What's that?
What the hell is that?
What's that?
Line angling off then.
Yeah, he had it like this, didn't he? He had it coming off like that. Ooh. And he had that marked as an angle in the middle of there. What's that? Well, that's an angle between this vertical and this vertical here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And he was perfectly okay with that.
Pepe's perfectly okay with it. I mean, there's two different verticals. A geometric, geometric imagined. And there's obviously an angular difference between the proper geometric vertical and the imagined vertical.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with the Big E model, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just land, it becomes something else, something that defies all logic and reason.
Well, it dictates their reasoning, doesn't it? I mean, the logic in the logical argument is the logical argument, but I mean, the logic within this, I mean, there isn't. This model dictates this logic, but I mean, it's not logic.
I think the biggest problem for some of these guys is that even if they think that the logic's a little bit off and they go, this is a bit weird, because they've got pictures from space, they go, oh, well, it has to be this way because I know it's a sphere. I've seen pictures from space.
Pictures
you know what I mean?
From what?
From what? It's like because they've got that, they won't look at the geometry the way it's meant to be. They go, well, the geometry must be this way because I know it's a sphere, even though it's illogical and, they can't prove it. All they can ever do is measure a horizontal and a vertical. There's never been any measure of curve. So, but they've got these damn pictures that these pictures.
Oh, Pepe's gone. Oh. So, see you later, Pepe.
Did he say goodbye?
Yeah, he did.
Thanks for all them proofs. They were brilliant.
Well, I'm going to head out. Bye.
All right, nice. See you, Primate.
Yeah.
No, not me here. I'm just his speak and spell box tonight.
Yeah. Oh well, that was.
I don't know, man. The whole
cry. Is he crying on my proof, or is he? He looks a little bit sad.
It was. He did disappear on your proof.
Yeah.
He went quiet then. Right? He shut up. He didn't actually say anything, but I mean, we can say that. I mean, like he was. His jaw hit the floor, and he never said another word when we pulled Brady's proof out.
Dumbstruck he was.
Aren't the terms level as... Sorry.
No, go ahead, Buster. I was just going to say, you got the whole crew here, Bev, if you wanted to go into the logos. Buster, Cleary, Primate, Travis, Emma, Paige, Redmond, Rob, Turner.
I just had one question.
Cool kids.
Go on then, Buster. Go.
Okay, so he asked for proof that level is horizontal. Aren't those geometric terms?
Yes. Yeah, I think they have been playing on Twitter. They've been saying like a WS type thing was, where does it say horizontal and vertical in Euclid's Elements, Bev? Where does it say it? We need geometric proof that it says it within the Euclid's Elements. So yeah, I think that's what that's what he was after. But he doesn't. None of them yet have actually read the Elements and how basic a principle it is. I mean, we worked through it with Cleary once. I mean, I don't know whether people that was quite a fair bit back, right?
Yeah.
But we did go over all of the definitions within and the axioms and postulates.
Yeah, it's
They're
great.
very basic. You know, like you.
Does that video have the title saying that? Can people find it easily, or?
I don't know.
You can go to the new website now, and you know all those postulates and everything are there.
Well, they're not there just yet, but they will be.
Okay.
I'm going to have to write up a Euclid's bit, and I'm starting to write up a logic bit, and we did have a bit planned about the logic. I don't know whether we can.
I found this works really well, showing people jump. Like my mum didn't want to look at anything until I said to her about the moon, everything hitting the moon straight on when the Earth's in front of it. You know, the angle. Once you show people that certain angles can't work, they know geometry's that perfect that, you know, they've got nothing after that. They can't say, you know, well, it's bending around something or whatever, because they know what a straight line is, you know.
Yeah.
That would be a good video to put on the website, the geometry.
Yeah, I think we are going to have to go over it again, right? I mean, these things are over and go over and go over again. And eventually, I mean, we've had people in here that have been in here for months or whatever. And still, you get something and you go, whoa, that's it. And it like things still click and fire on all of us. We all have inspiring moments where things just fall into place. Even still, from hearing some basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you can all of us can go, whoa, yeah, well, that's very easy. Why didn't I think of that before? I mean, I think half of the anger a lot of people feel is when they sort of feel it on themselves, as though they should have known that. They should have spotted it themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, the anger is the frustration with themselves. Why didn't I see this? How could I be so stupid to think water level is... Or to just not ever think about it, you know? They just...
That's the trick.
They don't correlate the two, water and the ball. They think about the ball, and then when they need to think about water, they think about water. They don't think about the two together. Yeah,
it's just so big. The Earth is just so big. You just don't have to worry about all those things that don't make sense, right? That's what everybody says.
Yeah, funny how you never have to worry about spin or curve or, you know, anything. It's almost as if we're on a flat, stationary, enclosed world, eh?
Yeah, but I mean, do we want to do the logic thing? Because I think it's about the right time, right?
Oh, it's great, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is so. When we first started all of this, and obviously fight the flat earth, said that to me and challenged me, you have to come up with a proof. And in order to find the proof, you basically have to simplify everything and go back to the basics, to the basic understanding of everything. How do you know that a straight line is a straight line? Like, what is that, and how does all of that come about? Now, where's the confusion in everything? Why do some people think one thing and some people think another? Let's see if I can get... I might have to put... I'll put I'll turn the video off, put the screen on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to put a screen up. Logos, there you go. Now, screen. Logos, definition. So, when we go back to the Logos. So, I went back to find out Euclidean geometry. And Euclidean geometry is sort of that is where you get your understanding of geometry from. But more than that, the basis of the geometry before when I first found the geometry, I found a passage that came before it which sort of laid out how geometry was born, right? So geometry came around because of logical statements, if you will. Like there was a logical argument that went around in the olden days with the guys that used to walk around with the bed sheets on, thinking. Yep. Like they used to walk around stone columns, right? Just thinking constantly. That was their job. So they're doing that, and they're all arguing, they're discussing with each other and trying to work things out. And geometry was born of those arguments. Now, it was born of the arguments from in a way that there was a proof at the end of it. That when you could get people to obfuscate, and you could get people to argue and run around and have all sorts of different fallacies and all stuff. But geometry came about because of statements that were proved to be true. There was no denying them. There was a definite statement at the end of it. So the geometry was born from a logic that couldn't be denied. It was a definitive sort of logic.
Yep.
So then you have to go back even further than that to find out what is logic. So this is where we're at the minute. Let me see if I can get this screen on. I might have to move it over a little bit. There you go. Right. So, can you guys see the screen that's running? I'm on my screen, or you can go on to.
Yeah, I can see it. Logos, philosophy, and theology.
Yeah. Right. So, Logos. Like I'm going off this, but I mean I'll try and freestyle it into what I sort of understand it to be. Right. So, the Logos is the Greek for word, reason, or plan. Now,
Trinity.
Yeah, Logos is, to me, the word. And Logos is the reasoning. It's your understanding of everything. So, I'll read it. Logos, Greek word, reason, or plan. Plural, logai. In ancient Greek philosophy and early Christian theology, the divine reason implicit in the cosmos, ordering it and giving it form and meaning. although the concept is found also in Indian, Egyptian and Persian philosophical and theological systems, it became particularly significant in Christian writings and doctrines as a vehicle for conceiving the role of Jesus Christ and the principle of God active in the creation and the continuous structuring for the cosmos and the revealing. Yeah, and thus it underlies the basic Christian doctrine for the pre-existence of Jesus, right? So it comes in, and it's quite an old thing, right? So it goes way back to, it's the Greek gods, actually. I mean, Logos gave birth.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, you go on.
So I've got my degree in Christian theology. So the only thing that I'm going to say is that if you want to talk about the Greek logos, don't bring in the Christian logos because they're not equivalent.
Well, I'm just sort of going over the word.
No, but I just want people to hear it. I'm not trying to step on your toes, Bev, or anything like that. But Cleary mentioned it just in brief. He said the Trinity. So the Christian idea is not that it's this generic reason or this generic thought or this generic, scroll up again, what's the other word that they used for it? They said word, reason, what's the other one? Plan. Right. So those are like impersonal ideas, right? Word, reason, plan, those are kind of like just this amorphous, they don't really have any tangibility to them.
Yeah, nothing has tangibility in Logos, that's the point.
Well, no, okay, great. So I agree with you. What I'm going to try to say then is for anybody who's looking at this, don't mistake the Christian idea of Logos with that same kind of just amorphous abstraction, because in the Christian theology, it is a person. Right?
Yeah, isn't Jesus the Logos?
But I'll get around to that. But I mean, that's
okay. All right, all right. Well, and then I apologize. I just.
Right. So, these are way back in the olden days. This is in the theology of everything. The idea of Logos in the Greek harks back to the 6th century BCE. Right.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's way before Jesus. Right, and who discern the cosmic process as a logos analogous to the reasoning power in humans, right? So Heraclitus gave the cosmic process a logos, which is analogous to the reasoning power in humans. So this logos is within you. It is the reasoning that you have. Just personal, right? So this logos is within you.
Yep.
That's what Ben. And then later, the Stoic philosophers found the teachings of such a defined logos as an active, rational, and spiritual principle that permeated all reality. So it's all around you. This logos. We've found it through a different reason. But
so
it's still
I'm so sorry. I that's the point that I wanted to make. I side with you, right? I side with at least what I think you would say, Bev and Cleary. But that's my point. That the Christian logos has nothing to do with the Greek logos.
We're not talking about it though. So why are you bringing it in?
Because it started off that way. It started off with the Christian.
That's what that other guy wrote. I mean, I was just reading what was wrote in the thing.
Okay, listen. I just don't want people to be. I just don't want people to be confused because. All right, I'm sorry. This is my area of geeking out, so I apologize. Please forgive me.
We're just talking about logic.
Yeah, we're just talking about logic.
I get that, but that has nothing to do with Jesus and the Bible.
Yeah,
all right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep those two things separate.
Yeah, don't get triggered in a bit when it mentions it again. All right.
I'm going to go on mute.
Right, so they defined the logos as an active, rational, and spiritual principle that permeated all reality. they called the Logos providence, nature, God, and the soul of the universe, which is comprised of many semini logi that are contained within the universal Logos, right? So this is just all people's interpretation of it within the historical books of all of these philosophers, right?
Yeah, I was talking about the logical consciousness this morning. I think that's when it triggered this whole conversation. Like, to me, you're a logical, conscious being. That Logos. That's what I see it as. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it started as though it was a conversation because we came to the conclusion. And we've been coming to the conclusion for quite a while that what has been lost is the logic, right? In order for them to be able to fool us so succinctly, for things that you go, oh, why didn't I notice that? Right? Well, they've purposely taken logic away. So your logic and your reasoning that would normally have saved you from feeling like that.
Yeah.
That's been taken away from you, and it's been replaced by something else. Right now, that's where we're going. So all we're trying to do here is put back in the logic, right, and give you the understanding of the reasoning that goes behind all of this, right?
Yeah.
This is the past. People who were meant to be the great thinkers, right? These people thought like this. So in order for us to think like this shouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, we've not gone that much past these people and whatnot. Right, so the first century Jewish philosopher taught that the Logos was the intermediary between God and the cosmos, being both the agent of creation and the agent through which the human mind can apprehend and comprehend God.
Yeah.
So the Logos is your reasoning. It's once again, it's within you, and it's your understanding. Right, Cleary?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Your logical, conscious being, your ability to apprehend and comprehend. I mean, I didn't even know that. I was just making that statement, and all of a sudden it triggered in you this right here. I was like, wow. Yeah. That's just what I don't know. It's just what the thought that came to me.
So, most of this comes from Plato, right?
Yeah.
Because, this is Plato's idea of the Logos is, I guess, Plato's the divine form, and to be able to transcend, to find the perfect form is Plato, right? So according to the Philo and the Middle Platonists, philosophers who interpreted religious terms of the teachings of Plato, right? So they get religious from that. So the Logos was both immanent in the world and at the same time the transcendent divine mind.
Like the mind of God.
It's all over. It's everything.
Yeah.
And then here we go. Travis, don't get triggered. In the first chapter of the Gospel, according to John, Jesus Christ is identified as the Word. Greek Logos. Incarnated or made flesh. Right? So the Word originally was Logos. And
so what I always heard was the Hebrew, like the word was like the voice, the thought that precedes your spoken word, But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. So that basically, it seems like it's a thing that's up to you to find, right? This Logos is what you interpret it as, and anyone will have their own interpretation of it. It is just that your perception or whatever within your mind that allows you to see whatever it is it allows you to see, right? Logos, most of us are driven by it, but we're told to just ignore it.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned mainly over these past few, the last year or whatever, hanging around with you lot. That the Logos, to live your life by the Logos, is a much freer and easier way of existence than being het up with all of the inconsequential stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Once you realize that all of that stuff was a lie, and all of a sudden you're free. I mean, you're like a child again, right? I mean, you just got this. Oh, you're reborn, basically. You have to relearn. You have to re-identify with everything. Like, they told me this. I need to look at this again. This was wrong. That was fake. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. You get into the religion side of it at this point, right? So the Logos definitely at that point goes into the Jesus and all of that. So who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories that were similar to Jesus and the Trinity, and a lot of the they didn't just for thousands of years believe a certain way and then all of a sudden just change. A lot of the ideas and things they thought about just translated into different languages and different, religions through time. It all kind of ties together all the way back. But, the logic, the conscious being that you are, the rational thought. Oh yeah, basically we were talking about the philosophy and sophists.
Yeah. Sophistry, you want to... that's on the website, that.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Let me get that.
I like that quote.
On the level.live. Think he approves? Nope.
Evidence?
I don't know. No, I might not have put that page up.
I don't know, you read that quote earlier. I'm not sure where it was. Logic and philosophy?
There you go. Oh.
Is this right here?
This is philosophy versus sophistry, right? Now, Cleary had an idea that philosophy was a bad thing, because I think he's heard somebody's not like philosophy. I mean, I like philosophy. It's a good way of using logic, right? So here's a quote. Philosophy uses critical thinking and reasoned judgments to determine the truth of a matter, while sophistry bypasses critical thought and only uses the art of rhetoric to convince others that they are correct. Philosophy and sophistry have two very different end goals, and thus two very different standards with which to weigh an argument. In short, philosophers seek the truth regardless of who is correct, while sophists seek to win regardless of what is true.
Who does that remind you of, y'all? What does that remind you of right there? I mean, is that not what we're in the middle of here? I mean, that is it perfectly.
That's pseudoscience. That's science versus pseudoscience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And philosophy's the good guys.
Exactly what we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Loss of reason.
So
the way you look at it, like, it's funny when you look at history in reverse, right? You're looking back, you're thinking philosophy, well, that was kind of a joke, and now it's called science, But, you look at it the other way around, in line with history, right? You look back and you realize philosophy was actually a good thing, and maybe it got hijacked by these sophists who just had an agenda, to prove something or pretend something else was real.
And I have another clip here in the Discord. Let me just swap this camera back. Oh, no way. Oh, my Discord's gone down. Stupid.
Paige, I think you're hot mic in there.
Am I? Oh, sorry.
It's just like tick tock.
Okay. Right, so can you...
Yeah, I'm dismantling some shit on my DayZ base.
Can you see that one? Is it loading up? It's not.
See, first there was the word.
It looks like you loaded something different on YouTube, and it's not on Discord. I can see it on YouTube, but I don't see it switching over on Discord.
Oh, you have to take the screen off. I'm back on Discord now, so if I cut my screen off, is that better? You see in Discord. In the live stream. I've got it here anyway. It's on the thing right now. This is a clip.
Skeptical attack of philosophers.
Going in the... yeah, you've got it.
You might be clipping, Bev.
Oh, do you want me to...
Yeah, I'll bounce to you.
Let me just jump out.
Alright.
Is that better?
Sounds good. Yep.
Right. So this is a clip taken from the Fawkes Institute of Geometry opening lecture.
Where is that now? Live stream?
It's in the Discord, yeah. In our Discord live stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing coming up on Watch Live right now. It's only on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just click in Discord live stream text, I believe.
Yeah,
live stream text?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Right, so
still...
yeah.
Okay.
Again,
okay.
this is a clip taken from the opening lecture of a Geometry Institute.
Yeah.
So it sort of goes along with what we've been talking about, right? So it says it may have been in response to this skeptical attack that the philosophers of nature noticed that amongst all the claims to sure and certain knowledge, the statements of geometry or knowledge of geometry was in some way distinguished. Geometrical arguments seemed far more impervious to skeptical attack. Claims of geometry could be made sure and certain in a way different from all other kinds of claims, and could be rendered non-contingent and necessarily true by a form of supremely reasoned argument, like deduction.
Wow.
Deduction, yeah. But it's different, but like deduction. Ultimately based upon the simple idea of constructing entities or validating procedures by circle and line construction. We call this proof, and it is something the Greeks invented or discovered. Nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
You don't invent geometry because it's there. You just find it. It's like logic. It's like we were saying, Paige, right? You don't find it or learn this stuff. It was always there.
Yeah, it was always there. You find it.
Yeah. Sometime in the first half of the 5th century BC, it's probably the single most important mathematical idea of all. The notion of proof by circle, line, or ruler and compass construction means that geometry can be known about in a way that is different from knowing about physical things, and so makes geometry epistemically differentiated. Furthermore, starting from circle and lines alone and constructing a relationship using circles and lines alone.
I'm sorry, that's epistemically.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah, actually, I was going to jump in, so keep reading, but when you get to the end, I'd like to jump in.
Okay. Yeah. Furthermore, epistemically differentiated. Furthermore, starting from circles and lines alone and constructing a relationship using circles and lines alone makes the conclusion certain in a way that nothing else was at the time. In geometric reasoning, the argument and the conclusions were made supremely clear and evident to the senses. Indeed, the concept of proof, a mechanism that gave a warrant for claiming geometry to be perfectly and absolutely true, made geometry the very paradigm of what we mean true and certain knowledge to be. In effect, our understanding of nature, true means true like geometry is true.
That is so good.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome.
And that is based upon the logic, right? So you can see that the geometry is based upon logic, and the logic is based upon just logic, right? So logic was found, or is the word. It is a truth and the way of reasoning. And from that, we gained geometry as a supreme way to find the truth.
The geometry, that logos, came from observing the world around us. That's where we found it, in the world around us. So if they've defined, if we know what a vertical and a horizontal line is within that system, then you have your proof.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only two reference frames that you can measure, right? You're standing right there with a level or a balance scale, or a plumb bob, it's level and horizontal, just like the cross.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
nobody ever sets a vertical on a 45-degree angle, do they? But for some reason, on the ball,
see the way you said that acceptable. Then, Paige? You said nobody sets it at a 45-degree angle. What are you referencing your 45-degree angle from?
Exactly.
It's weird that you said 45, because 45 is referenced from both the vertical and the horizontal.
The midpoint.
Yeah.
So like some of these things that you say that you just don't even realise you're saying them, because anytime you reference an angle, it's in reference to one of those two.
To either, horizontal or vertical.
Yeah.
Can I jump in just real quick?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I really don't want to take up too much time. I put in the YouTube chat a link for a fantastic debate. Okay,
you don't have a wrench though. Can you drop it over here in the live stream?
Okay.
Debate?
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll throw it over there.
I'll do that after I give my little spiel. I'm not gonna do much to. Okay, so look, when we're talking about these principles of logic, right? We're talking about immaterial, eternal ideas that are outside of us, right?
Maybe they're inside.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's great. Okay, fine. But let's start off with the fact that when we talk about something being discovered, it was there already ahead of us, right? Yep. Ahead of us, okay, right? Okay. So in Christian theology and philosophy, really, there are two primary fields. And the link that I'll give you is a fantastic debate that I really encourage you all just to listen to as a debate, okay? I'm not trying to persuade you to be a Christian. I'm not trying to persuade you to be an atheist. The debate is phenomenal, okay? Now, so you've got two different fields in Christian philosophy. That is one that is called presuppositional, and that is that you have to have certain foundational beliefs before you start to assess anything else. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to assess anything. And your ability to assess those things depends upon the pre-existence of God. Okay? Just take that for what it is. The other one is called classical, and that is that it is deductive, right? That is that we can draw certain conclusions based on certain evidences that we have in nature. So in this debate, you have an atheist coming up against a theist, And the atheist, I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert, has no idea what's coming at him. He has no idea, because he's all ready for all of the classical philosophical arguments and categories of debate in Christian theology. And what Greg Bahnsen does is he comes at him from a presuppositional perspective, which this guy had no clue was there. And it's absolutely golden. Now, I think that it can translate over into what Bev is talking about in terms of logos, because I'm no longer Christian. I am more in the area of, I don't even know, a spiritualist, right?
Spiritual, yeah.
Okay. So, all of that to say, I'm going to put this link in. I really encourage anybody who's hearing the sultry sound of my voice to listen to this debate as a debate. I think you'll be very impressed with the information if you have eyes to hear, eyes to see, and ears to hear.
There's nothing better than two people expressing their ideas well and articulately and getting each other to
both
think.
Great. They're both good debaters. They are both good debaters.
Awesome.
You know, they both, and it's a congenial exchange. I mean, it's in a scholastic UCLA auditorium. But the atheist, you'll know when it happens. You'll go, wow, he did not see that coming. And if you're paying attention, it's really, really profound. So anyway, you got it, Cleary. You got it. There it is. You posted it.
Yeah, I put it in there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. All right, that's all. Thank you. You guys are doing great.
Cheers.
Carry on.
Yep, cool.
Thanks, Travis.
So yeah, like I didn't mean to get that into a religious debate. It was more to do with the fact that I believe that a person, if you can take the logic away from people, and you take away their reasoning power and self-critical thought, then it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to fool those people.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
easier.
I remember my grandparents. You know, they were practical people. They farmed and they worked and they lived off the land and they walked, you know, back and forth, you know, across the city and got groceries, and they were practical people. You know, they wouldn't be fooled by this modern nonsense. And I think it's only a couple generations now that people have been, you know, put in these schools. And, you know, back in the day, they just kind of went like through, you know, lower grades, learned how to read, write, arithmetic, you know, and did whatever.
Do you know where I think it happened was when they encouraged women to work outside of the home. In that generation, like my mum's generation and maybe just my grandma's generation, the end of that generation, you know, getting them to work outside of the home and getting kids into school as young as I was 4.5 when I started prep. 4.5.
Yeah,
you know,
start a
ludicrous.
World War, you know, and kill off a bunch of the young men, and then you got a bunch of single moms.
Mums, yep, who need to work and things that, you know, your mum would have taught you, you know, when you're young at home, and
she's working 2 jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it happened way before
so that's where I think it really started.
Well,
yeah, really.
Like I say, when I first went to look at this, I looked for the Euclid, and I found that the bit expressed about the logic before it, right? There was a whole section of logic that came before the geometry, you know, the elements. It went before it, and it gave you an idea of the process that was formed that helped to bring the geometry into being, right? One of the bits, and I can't remember that much, but there was a saying, right, that the road up is the same as the road down. Right, now that was a reasoned saying that came before the geometry. Now, it doesn't really make much sense when you hear it like that. But if you make the road into a line and you put A and B on that line, then the road up is the same as the road down.
Right.
It's just a different direction along the line. So in the statement, the road up is the same as the road down, that then is transformed into a geometric sort of process, right? So the geometry comes from statements like that, and somebody, for some reason, went into the process of writing this out in an axiomatic setting, in an axiomatic way, to get it to, I don't know, just to write it out and put it into this beautiful axiomatic system.
Yeah, when you say axiomatic, you're talking about a system that grows upon itself, right?
Yeah, it's defined from within, right from the start, and everything it states from that builds upon the next part, and it all goes to prove everything that's stated within it. It's a self-contained proof system that proves itself. It explains itself. It takes you through a journey, and it proves everything within it. Like, actually
it takes
proves
you from
it.
a point to a line.
Yeah.
You know,
a point to a line, to an angle, to a shape.
Check the debate discussion. It used to be taught the 7 liberal arts, and one of them main ones was geometry, arithmetic,
Yeah.
rhetoric,
yeah,
Rhetoric.
logic. Trivium and quadrivium used to be taught, not anymore.
Yeah, that's like that. Like I was saying, when I went to go and find that, and I'll have to save that, Buster. I will. In fact, I'll save it now. I'll get it later. So when I went looking for these books, and I eventually bought an old Euclid book, and I opened it up looking for that bit at the beginning, and it wasn't there. There was a foreword in it that said, logic isn't being taught. It isn't needed nowadays. So at that point, and that was early 18, was it? 1880 or something. Yeah. So
1870.
Yeah, at that time, they already had it planned within the books that they were teaching kids. They were still teaching kids the geometry, but they were beginning to lose the logic that gave rise to the geometry, right? So they were beginning to phase it out. And then since
1872.
Since that time, you've lost the complete ability to know what the Euclid's elements, the geometry, is. I mean, to a lot of these people, I mean, who did we have in the other day? Was that R.C. Meisty that thought geometry was literally just measuring distances from one place to another? He thought that, that was all it was to him.
Yeah, that was R.C. Meisty.
But, I mean, to be honest with you, it's the geometry it's a vehicle that gives you an internal understanding and a way to prepare your brain, and it teaches you a logical process. That is what geometry is. Now,
yeah, that's exactly. I'm sorry to jump in real quick. I don't know if you guys know about this or not, but there is, for the past 30 years in Christian schools, they have moved back to the quadrivium, right? Which is what Buster posted with the 7 liberal arts, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
But the ironic part about that is that, so my kids go to a Christian school, a Christian private school that focuses on the quadrivium. But when I went into talked to the headmaster as a flat earther, he was not willing to allow the children to go back to the basics of critical thought, to assess whether or not we lived on the planet that our science purports us to. He was not willing. And that was absolutely just mind-blowing to me. I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was, right? Because as they talk about the fact that you were just elucidating on, Bev, that is in terms of taking us back to the ability to think critically. Why would you be afraid of thinking about this idea?
Well,
if you have so much confidence that you, quote unquote, have the truth, then why would you ever be afraid of analytically criticizing something that you think is false? But he was not willing to do it. Was not.
Yeah, like I was going to say, it wasn't. Geometry was never there and never used to prove, like you say, flat Earth, right? It can't do. I mean, it's like surveyors use it to measure elevation changes, not flat, right? But what they did used to teach the geometry and use the geometry and the axiomatic system for within religion was to teach people that there was a divine, right? The logos comes out within, as soon as you start learning the geometry, right? You know that there are proofs, and there is like an enlightenment that happens. There's a rebirth at the point that you realize you find one of those things, like Paige said earlier, right? You find one of those things that was already there. It was always there. And the moment you find it, you know it was always there, right? That moment when you reach that point, that's like an enlightenment. It's like biblical, right? But there's no way to describe it. That's why I think a lot of people get confused within the religion on it. But the geometry used to be taught in the early years to give the children or whatever an idea that there is a higher power, right? There's the logos is hiding there. It's there in the ether to be found. It's up to you to know where to search for this power or whatever it is. You need to go and you need to search and find it. And the geometry teaches you a way to be able to use like your own inner knowledge, your inner reasoning to go and find that. So I think that's why they used to teach the geometry.
Yeah. I guess they had to get away from it because logically, the canal, water is horizontal. And, do you really have to go out there and, measure it again and put a water level up against the already existing water level? With logic, you already know. You already know.
Yeah. Oh, I still want to do it though because it's a good trip out and it's one hell of a journey anyway. I mean,
oh yeah,
this journey's worth it on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, this I guess this server that we're at, and the new name on the level, all of that is it's all about honesty and truth, and that's what we do here. The logic is going to be the key to what we do. There's a way to discuss things through logical reasoning that it's just a lot easier if you use a logical reasoning when we talk to anybody or anything like we do around here. We get further and we find out who the people that don't understand logic are.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them Some of them are funny. And most of them are delusional. I mean, like what you call flat earthers, some of them. I mean, there's loads of people out there that you may start to think are clever, but then once you realise how, you know, their reasoning power is clouded by... Everybody gets it. All sorts of different things can cloud your reasoning and make you not see things that are there right in front of you. And sometimes it just takes somebody else to point it out to you. You find it out at that point.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing all the different personalities come in with their, I don't know, a lot of people call it, you know, obfuscation, just kind of throwing, you know, things out there. I don't really know what their intentions are. You know, maybe they just think they're just so smart they can come in and just, you know, I just think of R.C. Meisty just comes in just talking all kinds of shite. I don't know whether he is just trolling or if he's just, you know, trying to be clever or what. But they all end up, in the end, realizing that level is horizontal. Just like our guest tonight,
Yeah.
Pepe.
Pepe. Well, yeah, he came in looking for proofs, and I mean, I thought we give him enough. I mean, he did go away happy. He's not said anything on Twitter. I don't
Aren't these the same characters that say, you know, things like science doesn't prove anything, and then they ask for proofs, and it's like it's a contradiction kind of in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like you say, we've just gone through the proofs are within geometry, so
Right.
much easier if somebody's asking for proof. You go to a geometric. I mean, how do you prove geometry? You can draw a picture. That doesn't prove anything. You have to use the practical use of geometry, which is surveying. And
yeah, 100%.
Could you say that geometry is a 2D representation of logic?
Well, it's not 2D, is it? It's 3D.
Okay, that's fine. But I just mean in terms of putting it on paper as 2D. But yeah, that's fine. Okay. But my point was that, you know, Rumpus will say that maths is the only thing that is provable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Geometry.
Right. Yeah.
And surveying is the practical application of Euclidean geometry.
Right, but it's also logical, so it's not just strictly, you know. Yeah.
Well, Travis, if you got one pile of sand and you add another pile of sand to it, how many piles of sand do you have?
Logically and mathematically, you have two.
No,
you got a pile of sand, and then you got another pile of sand on top of it, right? How many?
Did you say on top of it?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about it being separate.
Math is not reality.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me, I mean, I may be highly biased, right? But logic geometry is born of logic. Surely there's no numbers or anything in geometry, right? The numbers are Arabic. It came way after the geometry, so the numbers must have been born from
concept.
Yeah. Well,
not something that was already there, really.
Yeah. The way I see it, right, you can do the geometry with a stick, right, and mark little bits on a stick. So you don't need anything. The only reason you actually need numbers is to divide things up.
So, like two lines cannot share a common line segment.
Well, it'd be like you need to show a proportion of one. You know, so a half and a quarter and everything. So one would be the only number that would ever be needed. You would need to divide that up to show, because there would only be a whole, and because there's no such thing as a negative. I mean, that's a concept, right? There's not even any such thing as a nothing in reality, right? There's always something. So there's no nothing and there's no negative, because you can't take away something that's not there. So that's just a concept. That them numbers within maths are just a concept, whereas the geometry is provable, and all of that other stuff is just a concept or something to make you believe that maths is the thing that gives you proof. I mean, we've had people in here that get really confused because they say, well, I can prove that 1 and 1 is 2, when you ask them to define 1. They can't. There's no definition to it. You can't define 1. So how do you add that to itself? It can't be done. They come with the idea that they can prove it, but there is no proof. It's just made up.
Let me ask you, what if I were to say 1 is a single unit of an item? How would you feel with that definition?
What would you mean? 1 is a single unit of an item. Okay, so how do you add that to itself? Get me 2. Get me one of them to add to another one.
Sure. Okay, yeah. You don't add something to itself, right?
Yeah. That's 1 though.
You add right. But you add another 1.
Okay, so you have 2 that are a single objects, but they are different because there's another one.
Yes, but you have 2 apples. So you don't have you don't have 1. You don't have 2 pieces of fruit, which is 1 apple and 1 orange.
Yeah.
You have 2 apples, which is 1 that is 1, another that is an other 1, right?
Yeah, but they're 2 different ones, though, aren't they?
Okay. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand your challenge to define the idea of 1. So 1 is a single expression of an object. A single representation, right? Can I give you an apple? Yeah, I can give you an apple, right? If I gave you an apple, Bev, how many apples would you have?
If
1.
you gave
Well,
me...
it's not always true though, because I can give you 1 pile of sand.
Hold on.
Another pile of sand.
Hold on, big brain. Hold on. Slow down. I'm not that quick. But if I give Bev an apple,
yeah,
right? How many apples do you have?
1.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, now you have an apple, right?
Okay.
How many apples do you have?
Are you starting off with a completely different scenario?
I'm listen, we're defining this as 1 apple, right? So you're putting another qualifier on it. We're just trying to define 1.
Okay, the idea of 1.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So the idea of 1, right? So I guess, and again, please understand, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to understand.
I'm not saying it.
Okay. So 1 is a or an expression of an idea or an object, right? 1. It is singular. Right. But see, right. But so then you're gonna say, well, what's single? What's single? It is a singular, solo, exclusively, not plural.
So then,
go ahead.
You would have something that would be undefined.
No, I just defined it.
Okay, do you want me to just read a short paragraph, right? This was a bit that I found pre-Euclid. And this was part of the goes along to explaining it, right? So Similarly, it is not possible to give a verbal definition of every word, because we must already understand the words in which a definition is framed. An example from arithmetic is the impossibility of defining 1. Brackets, try. That does not mean that you don't understand 1. Right? It just means that you can't define it. It's an element. Right? An example from geometry is the definition of a straight line. Is there something we know better or is more fundamental, or on which a definition could be based? Right? So you can't define it because it is an elemental. It is the basis on what all other things are defined. That's why you struggle.
Okay, so when I see the two words "an example," that's 1. Right? So it says that does not, the sentence above that is, that does not mean that you don't understand 1, right? So I would think that, Bev, you would probably say, Travis, I think you understand what 1 is, right? You understand what 1 is. So
yes, fundamental of maths.
Okay, so the question then becomes, am I able to express what I think, right?
No, it's asking for a definition, how to define it, right? Because, I mean, like, you get to the last bit here, it says logic then, which is the science of reasoning. The science of reasoning, I love that. Is not founded on reasoning, right? It's not. Logic, which is the science of reasoning, is not founded on reasoning. It is founded on irreducible understanding, on which we call first principles, right? They provide the basis for proving. So that it's almost as though these are the things that are known without being able to know or describe them. The irreducible understanding, you can't define it because you need that to define everything else.
Yeah. You can't define 1 with 1.
But I didn't.
Right.
But I think that I defined it.
Okay. You can think whatever you like. I say it can't. It's the same as a straight line. You can have a go at defining it. Euclid has a go at defining it, right? But that's within the purposes that he needed it for, within the geometry. He defined it within his understanding to be able to progress the geometry through a line and a straight line.
Yeah, I like that definition, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so help me understand what the difference is between the science of reasoning and irreducible understanding, right?
I don't know.
So we would have to define science. We would have to define reasoning, or
reasoning. We've just done that earlier. It's logos. It's the reasoning. You can't define this sort of stuff. This is what he's talking about. It's first principles. It's you either know it or you don't. It'll come to you later if you don't get it now. But this is, I guess, this is where we have to go back to, right? This is the foundation upon which we start building back from.
Yeah, logic is really not like the science like you think of, QE science of reasoning. It's more like a premise, right? It's
yeah, I don't have a problem with with what you're saying in terms of the scientific definition. I'm fine with where you're going with that.
It's just a way to try and understand, like they have taken in order for them to deceive people or to fool people or whatever. They've put the TV on, and obviously there's the brainwashing process that goes there and all of that, right? But in order for you to be able to fall under that spell so easily, you have to have this reasoning power, your own. It has to be taken away. The logical process that you go through has to be removed to make this a lot easier. Now, it seems quite hard at first when you start onto this journey, and like a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people will have an angry reaction at you telling them basic facts. They I don't know, they think you're I don't know, you're taking something from them. They don't like it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go
on. Okay, so when it says that in the middle of the first paragraph, that does not mean that you do not understand one.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question would be, how can you understand without defining one?
Because it is the basis of definitions of everything else. Like, you can define two because it's two ones.
Okay,
and you can define a half because that's 1 divided by 2.
Yeah, but a 1 is 1.
It's just 1.
Okay, so this is where I'm the flat earther and you're the baller, and I'm like, why don't you get this? So I don't seem to have a problem in understanding that I can define 2 because I know what and can define 1. But you're telling me you can know what 2 is, but you don't know what 1 is. Or you can define 2, but you can't define 1. But to me, that doesn't make logical, reasonable sense.
Well, you see, have you done geometry? Have you ever looked at Euclid and the way it starts off?
No.
Okay, right. Well, like a logical process lays everything out to irreducible understanding, right? You can't make it any more simple. So the let's take the black swan as an example, right? Now, you see all the problems that occurred with that. Because
I'll just respond by, I didn't have any problems with it at all, but I understand what you mean by problems that other people seemed to have derived from it, which I don't think were problems. They are just simply expressions of those people's ignorance. But go ahead.
Okay, right. Well, the black swan went a long way, right, to say a lot of things, but basically said there's a geometrical argument, right? Now, irreducible understanding taken through logic, QE didn't take it far enough. The further step is the one that I explained earlier, that if the Earth is a spherical object, then the surface of liquid water must curve, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as QE and Black Swan, but it cuts out all of that refraction argument and the wibbly wobbly cranes that everybody had, right? It takes it away from that picture and to an irreducible logical argument. You can't make it any simpler than that, and they can't do anything. All they have to do is prove that the surface of liquid water does in fact curve. And that's where the argument should be. But put it back on them. There's no need for an ongoing argument about how refraction, and if you're looking at something from a distance, and if you're zooming in, and the different temperatures and all of that. It's a geometric argument. There should be no looking at things in different temperatures and all of that. The black swan was or is a geometrical argument, but
thanks
because
to all the work,
yeah,
thanks to all the work you guys have done, Travis. You know, you and Ranty and Wide Awake, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
Everybody understands.
No, I thoroughly appreciate, Bev, all of your work in this area. So don't think that I don't. And I agree with you. It does in fact go back to that, because if I were to then respond by saying, okay, so you have two images with the black swan. You have the one where you have the horizon behind the platforms. You have the one where the horizon is in front of the platform. The horizon in front of the platforms is the one that you need to focus on, because that's geometrical.
I'm like Travis. I'm not. It is QE checked it all over, right? We had a discussion before this came out, and it was brilliant, right? Tony, I had a word with Tony afterwards. Tony didn't understand it. I walked him through it. We did understand it. Like, eventually, we had a word with Spurs Chemo to help him understand the Black Swan argument, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said all along, it didn't get simplified enough. It gave all of the ballers and everything. Is what you've been now nearly a year of 10 months, or at least of arguing about something. There is
hey, Travis, did you ever watch A River Runs Through It?
It's been way 20 years, but go ahead.
Yeah, he was teaching his son. He was teaching Brad Pitt, whatever, the other boy, to write, and he would write something, and he'd tell him, go back and bring it to me half as long. Kept reducing it shorter.
Yeah. That's you know what's funny, Cleary, is that is the exact thought that I had before you even said that. So,
you just keep reducing it to its simplest form, like water is horizontal. Boom. That's it. Just to me, like, water is horizontal. It doesn't wrap around a ball. To me, that's the simplest argument. You take it away from the Earth, the little E Earth, or the big E Earth, whichever one. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion there. But Earth really is just land, right? Most of it, besides salt flats, has some topography, some dimension to it. So,
I think in part that the response that I've put out on my channel is something of the the irreducible, and that is that if you claim that, and this is what I did with B-ball. If you're claiming that thing that you think you're seeing right there is the horizon, where is it? Because if you can't answer that, then you've got no claim.
Right. The claim is theirs, right? You don't feel motion, you don't see curve, right? Who has the burden of proof? They don't feel motion, they don't see curve. Who has the burden of proof?
Mm-hmm.
If I came to you and said, hey, the Earth is spinning and it curves, you'd be like, you better prove that shit. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It's that's why I've said for the longest time, we've got to find an opportunity to take this outside of this arena, but in the field still, right? We've got to find someone who is in the field, who is not a part of the discussion, and argue with them logically.
Like real surveyors, right?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yep.
The problem with the logic, though, is it's like within that quadrivium is music. Mm-hmm. and myself, I have a knowledge of playing an instrument that I self-taught, but I had a friend that actually learned the music theory, and his understanding and knowledge of music theory and playing the instrument surpassed me by a long shot. But based on my limited understanding, that's where I could only go so far. And I think that's the problem with this. People coming in to this like server, they have a limited understanding, and there's just a breakdown. That's where the delusion comes in.
How would you translate your analogy into this? I understand what you mean by your musical example, but what does that look like in this discussion? How would you?
Well, the reason I brought the music in was because it was part of the quadrivium. Geometry, arithmetics, music. Yeah. They all kind of fell in the same higher knowledge or higher learning.
Music is very, very geometrical, right? It was
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's logical. Sure. Yeah.
So, like within the music theory, you can have things laid out almost geometrically, to where when you understand that music theory, you understand how the keys work together, certain notes. And then when you have that understanding of that theory, when you learn the instrument, your ability will way surpass the person that can just have the knowledge, hands-on knowledge of playing it. Mm-hmm. So within geometry, it's the same way. We're talking about things like perpendicular, horizontal, but a person that doesn't have those understandings of the theory behind it, that's where the delusion's going to come in. Does that clarify a little bit?
I get you. Yeah. You've started at the basics and gone all the way through the basics, and other people come in and they haven't got the understandings of the basics. They're wanting to jump in at this at a different level, right? They've not gone back and got the understanding.
Yeah. So like I could play an instrument with that friend of mine I was talking about, and I can play so far, but with his understanding, he can take chord progressions further. He can take rhythms further, tempos further.
Okay,
I had a limited.
Right. Yeah. So I got a guitar back in like '90, and I still can only play 4 chords. So if Buster, if you said, "Hey man, let's get together and jam one day," I'd be like, "Yeah, no."
Right.
Because there's no way I could jam.
Actually, every pop song ever written only has about 3.
No, I get that, but I cannot improvise, is what I'm saying. So I get what you're saying in terms of that that progression. Yeah.
But we saw it earlier today. There was somebody trying to mix 2 different geometries and explaining something, and when Bev broke it down to the geometry and said the half of that you're using is not the right geometry. Can't do that. It's a logical fallacy. He just didn't have that basic understanding that he was, not. He just couldn't. He couldn't make the logical outcome that he was fallacious.
Yeah, he was going along the route that a lot of the model believers, let's say, because it is a strong belief of a model that ends you up this way with people like him, that their understanding of geometry is so limited, they just think it's shapes and distances and all of that. They imagine that they can just make it up, and geometry to them must mean so little that they don't even understand what it is, and what it's based on. I mean, it is the basis of all mathematics comes from this geometry and this logical process that happens. It comes from reality, right? It doesn't. It isn't just something you make up with numbers somewhere in a computer.
Well, that's why the music analogy fits in well too, because you can learn 5 different scales or modes and play within a certain framework of a type of music, and a guy can come in and say, "Well, I'm going to play this scale that I made up and try to fit it in," and it's like, no, that's not no. Not going to work. The same thing.
Yeah. I've never had the musical ability or anything like that, so I can't speak for that. But I mean, I know that as when you study these people and all of that, the music was a massive thing for all of these people. Mm-hmm. And I've always believed that there's something to do, whatever's missing within the periodic table or whatever, that there's a vibrational frequency, or that, you know, there's something missing from everything, and I don't know what the reason is, but they've definitely kept that vibrate. Like, music was a lot more important in the past than it is now, and I think they've done something to the music because there's something in the vibration and the frequency or whatever.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
They changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed the hertz of it.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, even more than that, let's say, there's...
Within cymatics and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, there's...
See, I believe that the words we say, the things we say to each other, have their own vibration. You know, so when you say I love you, when you say that was great,
yeah,
you know, things like that, you give a certain emotion to a person.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can feel it.
Positive.
Yeah. And them changing our language and getting people to write like WTF and OMG and stuff like that has completely changed the vibration probably of the whole world, because everyone's talking differently. You know, everything's abbreviated. Every words that used to mean, like gay, used to mean happy, now it means homosexual. You know, so they've changed everything.
Yeah, it's like the trolls who come around with their negative karma, just spreading negative.
Yeah. Spreading negativity. It's like they did that on purpose.
Yeah. Like, we're all tough, you know, but after a while it's just like, oh, God, here's that same troll again, you know.
It's the lack of the logic, you know, it's the lack of the basics. That's just like we're taught base 10 counting. And that's how you understand counting, by 5s, 10s, you know, but what if you were taught from a base 14 system? You know, 16. You couldn't understand it.
16 would be ideal. I think base 16 would be the idea, and I think I like the inch and the foot and all of that. I mean, that's obviously a different imperial system, which I think personally base 12 is easier to understand. I mean, they had all sorts, didn't they? I mean, a yard 36, so that's base 36, which fits with the 12. And it also fits into the 360 degrees for a circle. You know, there's obviously these other bases have been around, and it's not base 10. Like, base 10 isn't a natural base. It doesn't work.
But it's what everybody was taught, and if that's all you know, you can't think in other, you know, paradigms of like the base 16. That's like, a lot of people don't know how to read a rule, and it's like you said, it's base 12.
Yeah.
Well, in America anyway.
Well, base 10 for your surveyors, right? You
go
to decimal feet. I mean, that's just shows you, right? Because you've got in the olden days, you would have had the feet, and the point that it changed to the decimal was when they changed to the meter. And the meter's a construct of their model, because it was a millionth of the distance from the pole to the whatever. So that's a different construct, right? The meter is made up as a measurement on a model, then divided by 1,000,000, but that gives you the 100. That puts you into base 10, and then they construct everything around the meter, and they gradually phase out the mile. And first of all, the mile was different in all different places, but it gave them a way to standardize measurement and different systems. So I mean, it's a one world measurement is the meter. Then they made the meter, a foot is a certain percentage of a meter, right? That's how you get it.
But it's almost a dumbing down.
Yeah.
because you don't have to think as much.
Yeah, base 10. It's been given to you.
They did the exact same thing with our calendar. You know, now the Gregorian calendar, they tell us what day Monday is going to be, what day Tuesday is going to be. But it used to be, you know, the working on a 13-month, 28-day cycle, you know, a lot easier to understand. Monday was always the same day. Yeah, and then they went and changed it. So everything's confusing now instead of being nice and even and, you know, easy to understand.
Don't even know why you have days, right?
Yeah, because every day is a different date. Like, you know, the calendar will tell you whether Monday is whether the 13th is a Monday or a Friday, you know.
Well, I mean,
whereas
like
the other calendar, they were always the same.
That like moon day, Monday is the moon day.
Moon
and the
day,
Sunday is
yeah.
the day of the sun, and
They did that. They changed the calendar when they brought, and that's how they brought the all these, you know, laws and birth certificate crap. You know, they all own us under this calendar. It's fascinating what they did.
Well, so we've gone back to the logic, right? That's it. That was what we were basically trying to do today, was to bring back logic.
Yeah,
And
we need to keep going over it and, you know, getting into different areas of it and all.
Yeah, bring back the logic and let's start trying. I mean, because you hear it a lot. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, so by your logic," right? And whenever you hear anybody say that, like, whatever comes out of their mouth after that will have nothing to do with a logical process or anything. It's almost as if they're telling you. They're just making their own logic up on the spot.
Yeah, that drives me nuts, because nobody has their own logic. Logic is logic. It's what it is. You know, it's not my logic or your logic. Well, it is once you find it, but it should be the same for everybody, because that's what it is.
Yeah, and discussing logic should be of prime importance, right? You shouldn't be able to say, I don't want to discuss your logic with you because I have my logic and
I have my own logic.
Yeah.
Your own definition. That's what we hear a lot of.
Yeah. Yeah, so the discussion of all of this sort of stuff is of prime importance, but in a constructive, civil way that everyone can learn from it, right? I don't want people to be coming round and obfuscating simple facts, which is what these model believers are doing. And most people must notice now that the discussions that happen around these areas, it's not much of a discussion, and I'm not so sure whether anybody ever learns anything other than how these ballers obfuscate, and nobody learns anything. I think that's the main point.
Yeah, Rumpus has never taught me a damn thing.
No, because they haven't got a realistic model.
I think Primate wants to talk about the Dark Horse.
Yeah, it's coming. It's there.
Yep.
The geometry. Well, I mean, isn't that what we've been doing all night, right? The geometry.
Yeah.
Is the logic forms the geometry. And logic also forms the science. It's just that the geometry is the logic that gives proofs. for certain proofs. Certain proofs of line and form, was it? Or line and circle, ruler and compass. The proofs given by ruler and compass are true, as we know true to be.
Yeah.
Whereas the science is, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I don't think Fight the Flat Earth's right when he says that science doesn't prove anything. I mean, if you can get it down to that deductive reasoning,
right?
Then
that
want. Proves, right?
Hmm? They don't want it to be that. They want it to be inductive reasoning, where they can look through a telescope and go, "Hey, Bob, what do you think? Is that a galaxy?" Sure. Yeah, I concur.
Yeah.
Peer review.
100 more Bobs stood up in a line. Yep, I agree. Yes, I agree, Bob. Thank you.
Yep. Inductive. Science doesn't prove anything. They know that. In their inductive reasoning, their pseudoscience.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
empirical
I don't know.
evidence.
Do they, like, people listening? Surely that there's two different forms of logic. But I mean, I guess that's not even a way, is it? Right? There's a way to use logic, and now Emma was a big proponent of the mind your P's and Q's.
Mm-hmm.
Most people think it's mind what you say or whatever, but I mean, it's through logic. The P and the Q are born through the logic, and if you can get your P's and your Q's right and your logical statement right, and if you get your logical statement with a if this, then this, right, that is basically that's a deductive, right? You're making a very definite statement. If this happens, then this happens. If it does, that's it. That's deductive.
Yep.
If and then. Now, the other statement through logic is, I don't know what it's like. A sometimes, possibly, type statement. Well, that's inductive. That's a different type of logic. Mostly, those sort of words that they don't have a definite answer at the end of them. Well, that's a different type of logic, and it's almost as though it's a different type of science.
Yeah, it is. It's pseudoscience, really. That's what it is.
Well, inductive reasoning is it doesn't give you a definite, right? That's the problem with it. There's probabilities, possibilities, and maybes involved in inductive reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas deductive is a if-then definite answer.
Oh, yeah. And there aren't many things in the cosmos, in the sky, you know, there aren't many things that you can empirically prove with science, with deductive reasoning. So they had to, I guess, use inductive. I call it just making shit up, but
anyway. One thing that can be proven scientifically about space.
Well, that sounds bad, Rob. You've got a bad mic there, Rob.
I think he said there isn't one thing that could be scientifically proven about space. Or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I give you. Well, space between physical objects. I mean, I don't think he could prove anything about that, though, either. Could you really?
You were solid green, Rob. I didn't hear anything, but yeah. What everybody assumes there's some vast space up there, but maybe not. Who knows? Nobody's ever been there.
Can't be proved. Therefore, I'm not really that fussed.
Yeah. I guess the topic. The topic's always been about the shape of the Earth. Everybody wants to look up in the sky. I mean, there's ways to measure the shape of the Earth. It's all been done. But I don't know. Logic and reason got lost somewhere in between all these amazing structures that were designed with geometric precision centuries ago.
Star forts. You go back to the old geometry books of the 1700s. They were building star forts for fortification.
That's where the
1700s. It's gone.
Yeah.
Forgotten. Nearly as forgotten as Euclidean geometry. I mean, how many more years?
It'd be gone.
Before it's gone completely. Been replaced by whatever that is, like Common Core maths. Wow, can you imagine the difference imagine what they'd think back in those days when you're teaching Euclid and now they're teaching Common Core maths. I mean, it's put there to confuse people. It's definitely not making people cleverer or smarter or giving them a chance to think for themselves, even with the slightest bit of critical thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do math that they don't teach, actually. I learned that when I was in school. I was like, why are they doing it this way? And I would do it in my head a different way.
Yeah.
And I was always faster and more accurate than they were.
I was like that. I would never do it the way... I would do it twice as fast, a different way, and then if I didn't do it the way they wanted to do it, I'd have to go back and write out all the steps that they want. And I'd be like, well, I did it without doing those steps in the middle.
Yeah, well, go back and write it the way we want you to. That's what
Yeah. Doesn't matter that you got it right. Doesn't matter that you did it quicker or, easier. We want you to do it this other way. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
My son came home one day from school and said, there's no need for you to help me now anymore. The teacher says we don't do maths like that anymore. That's old. That's the old way of doing it. We don't do it like that.
Yeah, so, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, he's autistic.
We don't use logic or reasoning.
Yeah, he's autistic. So, I mean, imagine how long that took me to get him to take my word for something again. Because the teacher had told him that, like, they don't do things like that anymore.
Yeah, my son has Asperger's. I can imagine it's probably even worse for you that he would have been like, oh my God.
He's just got Asperger's, right? He's the same as you. He's the same as your lad.
Oh, okay, yep.
But, Asperger's, so eventually it took a bit of time for me to teach him how to learn again. Or like, I mean, it's still quite hard. He loves the computer. But, I mean, yeah, he did that when he was about 6, 7, 8. And that was it then, like 3-4 years of me telling him things. And it didn't go in. There's no point in it. That's just the old thing. Like, parents do the old stuff.
The old stuff.
Yeah. And now, so imagine like all the rest of the kids in his class or whatever. I mean, that's what they're going through in the education system. Their teachers are telling them that, we do things differently nowadays than the older people. It's not helping the kids at all.
Oh, God, no. Especially not the ones that need that little bit of extra a reassurance and stuff that, what they're being told is correct. And
well, you think how many people are age 18, 19, 20 now that are just coming out of school and they've been through the same sort of process. They've nobody's had to say to them, we don't do things like that anymore because they're already in the system and they're I don't know. There's no wonder why there's so many people all messed up nowadays with drink, drugs problems and the social problems that we seem to have at the minute.
Yeah. It reminds me of that movie Idiocracy, where people just got dumber and dumber over, generations.
Yeah, they get easier and easier to fool.
Yeah.
More drone-like by the day.
Oh, yeah.
TV system. I mean, obviously I'm a bit nearly 50. So when I was a kid, like I say, there used to be hypnotists around, quite a lot of them. And I don't think they're around anymore. And the reason I don't think they're around is because that they activate a certain part of the brain. Now, there used to only be a few people that they used to be able to put on stage that used to be able to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know much, but I would pretty much guarantee that there's a lot more people nowadays that would fall under the hypnotist spell than there were back then.
I bet you're right too.
I bet that's why they're not around.
Instead of being like one in 100, there'll be like 20 in 100 that would be able to be.
I think it'd be more like 80, to be honest.
Yeah, 99%.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably actually.
The way the TV's got a grip, and all you've got to do is add the education and the way that the brain works, and feed that into the system. Then you've got a load of people that'll think exactly the way you tell them, and they'll be manipulated by all sorts of different methods that they won't even be aware of. Advertisements and all of that. I mean, that's all it is. It's them trying to manipulate you with all sorts of images and slogans and words and hand signs, all sorts of different things like that.
Speaking of illogical, Brad, the science guy, came in debate discussion with level is horizontal at 1 point.
It can't be.
The horizontal plane is not level all the way along.
So that horizontal line that he drew on his earlier pictures has now been shortened to a point, or is the line still horizontal? Yeah,
it's just dropping away at 2 inches on the half mile and down 8 inches at the 1 mile distance. It's funny.
Oh, right. So I see. Yeah. Horizontal line hypothesis for a curve. See, he's added a new one, and I'm not so sure he deserves his own special category there. Yeah. But I mean, we're gonna have to add that in next time, right? Because you've got, it's like a hybrid. God, it's a hybrid. Kozlowski, Nutsack, McToon, Bislin.
It's a hump drop.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's the.
So we've got the four Stooges, do we?
At first, I thought it was a slope, but it looks like a hump drop. But
well, it's definitely the quadratic, right? Because he's got the 2 inch in the middle, so he does have the hump, doesn't he? Because he has that 2 inch hump in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a hump drop. It's a Kozlowski, Nutsack, McToon, Bislin hump drop model. Wow. Maybe it's just a different perception. Depends where you are at. Yeah, I guess that is for he must be talking about somebody at A, because the person can't be standing at C, can they?
No, they'd be like falling backwards.
It must be at A, yeah. So that is mainly it is the Kozlowski nutsack drop.
Yeah, it's just that's in his brain, and he's drawing it out, trying to express what's in his brain. You know, I'm not sure who put it there, but it's like he wants you to take it out. Go ahead, Buster.
I'll say that's why I brought up the music thing, was because the buddy of mine learned how to spell chords, and I memorized all of the keys to play a major seventh in, but he knew how to spell the chord from the music theory, so he didn't have to memorize. He just knew all of that, had all that understanding. It's the same way here. This guy's just thinking something, whereas Bev's got all of the axioms and the understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just he just doesn't have enough background.
Level is horizontal at 1 point, but he's got a horizontal line. I don't understand how he can have a horizontal line, but then say it's only horizontal at 1 point.
Yeah, how can anything be horizontal to a singular, undefined point?
And a horizontal plane is not level all the way.
A plane touches a sphere at 1 point.
Yeah, that's a good one, that. But where's the sphere where that horizontal line is? I don't...
He's talking about a tangent plane, and he wants to believe that it's something other than a perpendicular to a radius. If it's even that.
A plane touches a sphere at 1 point. If it touches a sphere. What about a plane that doesn't touch a sphere? Does that make it a tangent or not? Yeah.
They always have this ball. Why can't they just understand that water is horizontal? Point is not a plane. The plane touches at a point. Okay.
Yeah. Who said that a point was a plane? What's he doing? He's doing that thing that they do where they just make up stuff. And then they can argue with somebody that didn't even say anything. Like, he must be hearing voices or things, or seeing things that people are saying.
Yeah. Whatever his name is. Geist View is probably sitting there telling him.
Yeah. Did he just say a point was a plane? Tell him. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be listening in. Are you listening in, guys? Hey. Hi, Geist and Brad. Anybody wants to come over, you're quite welcome to. Although, I think I might be going to bed in a bit. I'll have a brew. I'll put the kettle on. Back in a minute.
Alright. Now, looks like Ranty sent his camera off to somebody on the east coast of the UK. XP1000. It's awfully trusting. Maybe he'll get it back in one piece. Who knows? Yeah, not much going on in chat lately. Just my homies over here who want to stay on mute. In Discord, that's fine. I can chat with Brad, I guess. Or look around.
I'm in the store at the moment. I'll be ready here in a little bit.
You're alright. I like monologuing. You can ask Primate. But, Yeah, what's going on around here? Yep. Yeah, this morning was awesome, really. Talking about logic, logos, actually. It's just funny when you come up with, you have this, idea about logical consciousness. Your conscious being, like, and that's the logos. What I learned. People talk about God, some external God, like an old man with a beard on the clouds. But to me, it's inside of all of us. That truth is inside of you. I believe that's what Christ, came to speak about was that kingdom within. You have to become like a child, in the kingdom. You need to be born again. He's the way, the truth, the life. Once again, the three aspects, right? The word, the reason, the plan. It all, to me, it just all ties together into one thing. And I know everybody's got their own personal opinions and ideas about things, but I've done a lot of research for myself, and I've found, what I feel is a logical truth about it all. It's just amazing, really. This arena, this topic. If you allow yourself to be open-minded and to entertain some things that maybe you never thought you would, then you can really learn a lot. I think a lot of people are defensive, though. I know globe heads are. They just they're in pain. They spend 24 hours a day trolling. They can't change what's in their mind. They want to keep making these drawings over and over, and drawing what they think is real. And asking how it couldn't be. It's amazing to me. It's psychological.
That's why I thought tonight's topic was super on point, because there's been a loss of critical thinking.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was on. I think it was super on point tonight, as far as talking about the logos and logic. It's just there's been a loss of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of things people do in their lives that just are not logical. Like a guy I know, his truck wasn't working and it was beeping and it needed to be reset for 2 weeks. He rode around, and I kept telling him, get the boss man to fix the truck, get him to get in the other truck, but he never would. He never would communicate with him until the 2 weeks went by, and then he got frustrated, and then he was angry. And I said, that's just not logical. I said, you need to learn how to communicate, whether you don't do so out of fear or laziness or whatever it is. You have no right to be angry, for something that you failed to communicate. You'd say, the truck's beeping, the truck's beeping, boss. And the boss would be like, well, whatever, I'll fix it later. But he never communicated the fact that I'm listening to a truck beep every day, all day long. It's very annoying. I can't do it anymore. It's just totally illogical. It's just like people aren't, I don't know, they're just not thinking. They're not looking out for themselves. They're not doing.
Sorry. It's just a lack of understanding. You can know how to drive a car. If you don't have a basic understanding of how a car operates, you'll never put oil in it or change it. Like you said, or check a beep.
Yeah, it was just resetting the beat, but it's just not a natural way of being, in my opinion, to, out of fear or laziness or complacency or whatever, to make yourself a victim and to allow yourself to fester up and get angry, when logically you can just say what a natural person would say is, I can't do this, boss. You've got to fix this. You know. But anyway, yeah, communication, you know, can lead to a lot of confusion. I think that's what's going on here. You know, communication gets shut down, right? When people come in and they're screaming and they get muted and somebody monologues, you know, while communication's shut down, nothing ever gets accomplished. It's the same old shit, you know. Like I was saying, I don't want to be sitting there. I don't want to be sitting here 10 years from now with a grandkid on my knee debating rumpus about Coriolis effect. You know, that is not logical, you know.
QE's just put one out. He's doing Coriolis tomorrow.
See, that's my point. Thank you. Yep. Yeah.
It's a good topic.
Yeah. Haven't heard much on Coriolis.
Really?
No.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Is it a drink?
Yeah. Yeah, stirred, not shaken.
I see Brad's still going in the debate discussion.
Oh yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to him. He's dying for your test, man. He wants you to take that image out of his brain, you know?
Well, see, I don't... when you listen to these people talking about the test, they readily admit that what they think would happen is what would happen on a horizontal plane. They're just going to think the curve's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very it's a very good way to be, because that model's been planted that hard into their imaginations. They cannot let it go. Their imagination still allows them to see a horizontal and even understand the horizontal as being a straight line, like Helgi did yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think Helgi's come the closest to reality, I think.
Yeah, and he's got a sense of humor about it too. When he talks about images of the Earth from space, he kind of giggles, you know. He knows it's silly, but we'll see. You never know.
I mean, the test is just to show them, to establish a horizontal plane of reference. The test, geometrically, the full test, the one that we didn't get to explain to Brad yet, which I will go over at some point as well, and Pepe, because he wanted a proof. Well, the true test of the water level test is a geometric test. But they have to understand the principles behind it, the proper geometrical principles. Now, they don't understand the geometrical principles behind it because they imagine their own geometry underlying those geometrical principles. So, I don't think there's a way really to bring them back to reality, to teach them about the geometry, because they just won't look. They will be forever ignorant of it, because they just won't want to look at it, because then they will find that there is a way of proving things to yourself, and the enlightenment that comes through that self-knowledge will show them that there is a proof behind the test through the geometry. But that's just these people within these debate conversations, right? Mm-hmm. The people that everybody, I think, already knows. They don't come into a conversation with an honest approach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was clearly defined earlier with the philosophers and the sophists. I mean, it's just like that nailed it. Why do you say that? I don't know. Maybe he's talking to Primate. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe these people will wake up one day when everybody else who doesn't have all the defense mechanisms, the emotional, psychological attachment to a ball, when everybody else realizes, it's logical and reasonable that water is horizontal, then maybe they'll understand. Maybe they just need to follow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody needs time.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us around here have been away from the TV. That's what I'm noticing.
Oh, yeah. The TV is the MK Ultra source.
3 years away from the TV for me.
Oh, man.
At least.
Decades, really, yeah.
Completely. I mean, like, zero TV other than watching the YouTube. My screen's on YouTube. I've not watched any TV or so any of the main programming. Now
I turned my TV off in 1992. Then I went back to it a couple times, but it's been a long time.
Mm.
That's 28 years. Damn. I mean, that 1992, I turned the TV off, didn't watch anything for a solid year. And that was like, wow. But yeah, that thing, I turned it on the other night to watch that zombie, The Walking Dead show. And it's just constant globe imagery, Star Trek commercials. And I was just like, whoa, I haven't seen that in a long time. It's impossible to escape out of that if you're in it. But on the outside of it, you can hardly even watch that crap without just cringing. It was amazing. It's just non-stop propaganda.
Yeah, I can't watch TV. I see the lies everywhere, even down to the actors. It's obvious to me they're lying.
Yeah,
and as soon as I know somebody's lying, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah, and then the whole thing about being a zombie and all, people killing people and a culture of death, and just hopelessness, dystopian future. I mean, yeah, it can be entertaining, but it's really, there's so much going on there.
Yeah,
that affects young or even older minds. Keeps them in a...
They worship death, though. That's their religion. They think that you become more once you die.
Mm-hmm.
So, they've got this real fascination with death.
Yeah, I'm not sure who you're referring to, but a lot of people.
The TV, Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about everybody. Like, everybody I talk to, they want to die so they can live forever. They want Jesus to come back and save them from this life that they have, so that they can go and die and live somewhere else forever. It doesn't make any sense.
Bit of escapism.
Yeah. You can't live here, but you want to go live eternally somewhere else? Well, damn. Come on. Get busy living here if you're going to be living forever with Jesus. I'm not trying to be rude, but does that not make logical sense? I mean, whatever.
Yeah, if you can't get your shit together here, what is going to be different after you die?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't want to hear that, but
I mean, I'm all for, there being somewhere after this that, you know, is lovely, okay, that would be wonderful. Yeah, but, you know, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket, and, you know, I still have to live here in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, maybe you'll come back again. Who knows?
Maybe I'll just get recycled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like people think they know where they're going, but they don't know where they've been before this, so what the heck?
Yeah, how can they know where they're going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been good night tonight, right? I like that.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually very relaxing, honestly. Just a chill Friday night.
Yeah, with the launch of a new website that I've used quite a lot. We've got a good evidence room for level being horizontal. I've used a couple of the. It's dead easy to get all of your images for everything. Just copy them, paste them.
Yeah, did you get all the Euclidean?
I will. I'll have to. I don't know whether I'll scan it. The pages in, you know, the ones that we'll be using. But yeah, I have to write the test up, and I'll write the test up with the Euclidean proofs that we're using.
I'm gonna watch, or I'm gonna listen to this Republic of Plato audiobook. God, it's almost 5 hours long. But
yeah, well, is it 5 hours, that one?
Yeah, it's not the one you linked to me because those different voices were throwing me off. I went to a different one here. I'll sort it out. I'll figure out which one.
There's that one. I think there's one of them that there's like a one guy, and he's a bit older, and he does it. But I mean, that'll have you chuckling, right? It's wrote as a comedy. Yeah.
That's cool.
At the beginning, when you hear Socrates talking to somebody else about, you know, they getting older. Yeah,
Plato, I guess, was
funny.
after Socrates and used a lot of his stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I think he was a muse, wasn't he? I think Socrates was a character he wrote about. Possibly was a real person. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I like Socrates, though. I do.
I used to have a book called The Socratic Dialogues. I used to carry that thing around with me forever. It was interesting.
Of all of the philosophers, Socrates is the wrote about by Plato, but I don't know whether there's actually much of his stuff, right? Or whether it was just wrote about by Plato.
You know how it is. People kind of like just take somebody's stuff and, you know, talk about it, and it kind of becomes theirs, and down the line, all that stuff, who knows where it came from.
Yeah.
Before Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, you know, it was somebody else. You know.
Well, yeah. Paige, have you ever listened to any Plato? What about you, Buster? Have you ever?
No, I'm gonna start that one you posted. I mean, I've just bits and pieces here and there read about it, but no, not in depth.
That one, like if you listen to that reading of the Republic, it's basically, give you an outline of it. It's a way, I personally think it's a manipulation way, right? It's a way of telling people. You know the way now you have people telling people the truth, but because they tell them it in a story, it seems to be, it becomes not real, right? It becomes into something like a story, right?
It's a tale as old as time, because all of them, like even recently, within the last 100 years, you've got books like 1984, Animal Farm. Those books are just telling you the truth, You know, right before it happens, what's the movie Citizen Kane? That's a good one to watch. You watch it and you're like, well, what's happening today or has happened?
Well, I think the story of the Republic, it starts off as a conversation about justice, and it progresses, right? Let's say that, and the way the story gets laid out and everything is very interesting. I don't want to give, you guys my ideas, because then you might not get out of it whatever you'll get out of, be seeing me. So yeah, just have a listen to it. Put it on in the car when you're doing a bit of work or anything, right? And just listen to the story. And yeah, it's good.
I did the same thing when I read Animal Farm. It's just I laughed all the way through. Same kind of scenario.
Yeah, well, Animal Farm, I think, was his first one, wasn't it? Right, so Animal Farm was sort of came as a warning against the communist sort of way, and it was put into that. But it sort of, don't know whether now that was a lead into, get ready for what's to come, because 1984 was the next one, and that's here, right? So,
well, for me, when I read it, was they wrote the rules on the barn wall, and over time they kept changing the rules.
Yeah, I remember.
The animals kept forgetting that they got changed, and it seemed like it, like what has happened over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was wrote as a against the communist regime, but if you read into it, it's more of a, you may think it was against the communists, but again, they're telling you what they're doing all the time. As long as your perception of what you were told about the book, I mean, because I think about everybody nearly does it in school, don't you? I know I did when we were at school. I mean, my lad's doing it now at school.
Yeah, probably so. It's been a long time.
But you get told by the teacher that what, their interpretation, and that gets led on to you through the book, and it's obviously a lot deeper meaning within that story, is 84 that came after it.
That's why I like this topic tonight with the logic, and I mean, this is what I took from it tonight. When you learn the basics and you have a good foundation of logic and how to reason, it leads into everything else that you learn after that. But if you're taught stuff after the fact and not given that first bit, yeah, you can know how to do certain things, but the reasoning and logic is not there, so you miss tons of other stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, it's part of common sense, right?
Yo, wide awake?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Clary?
Just chilling.
I think Clary said it the best earlier.
Yeah.
About the fish, Clary. Can you do that again?
About the fish?
Yeah.
You talk. Yeah. Well, you talking about this morning?
Yeah, it was like the Buster's just had to go at sort of learning the basics and all of that. But I mean, I think you did it very well with the fish. Can you have a go at?
Yeah. You can teach a man to fish, or you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime.
Yep. I'm a fisherman, so yeah, I hear you.
But you know what I was inferring with that was that, you can show somebody something, but if you teach them how to, I guess, logic, they can do it for a lifetime.
But that's the same thing I was kind of bringing up with the music. When you're fishing, if you teach a guy, like you said, you give him a fish he can eat. But if you teach him how to fish, and then it goes past that, where if you understand the right times to fish, where to fish, within the body of water you're at. Right.
Tides, temperature, barometer, it all plays a role in, your day of fishing. If you just pick any day to go fishing, you might go out and fish all day and not catch nothing.
Sure.
You got to fish in the right spots too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just trying to make a parallel between fishing.
And I understand it 100%, Clary. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, when you look at just the basics of common sense, you can't teach people common sense. Either they have it or they don't. And I swear a lot of people don't have common sense is because they just accepted everything that they've been told their whole life without ever questioning it.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's everything we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. I'm not too keen on the word common sense, right? Because that seems to... it sounds like there is a shared sense between all of us, and I know that's not not true.
Common doesn't mean shared. It basically means your own personal common sense. I mean, you don't stick a fork in an electrical outlet, right? That's common sense, right? You don't stick a fork in an electrical outlet, especially one that works.
Well, yeah, common sense is a natural way of being, in my opinion. Like the guy I was talking about, common sense tells you that you need to communicate and address the problem before you let it, fester up for 2 weeks and get pissed off. That's common sense. It's a natural way of thinking. I don't think it's a shared.
Yeah, I design irrigation systems, and I worked with water ever since I was like 14 years old. And even working with water, it took me like 40 years to realize that water is level. The water does not run uphill. It cannot run uphill without you forcing it with some kind of pressure or, a pump.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't run uphill automatically. And if you're on a spinning ball, how can water run up a hill? When you got like the Nile River, even the Mississippi River, you're not going to have water running uphill.
Yeah, and a lot of rivers flow east, I mean...
Yeah, there's
trash.
Withlacoochee River runs kind of northward in Florida. Okay, it runs from Hernando County up through Citrus and out to Levy County. So it is a northward running river. That could not be possible on a spinning ball.
Yeah, nothing is. Water kills the ball.
That's what I say too. It just, there's no way. And some of the videos that I've done, especially the 11-mile bird rack that only stands 14 to 16 feet tall, and I'm at 28 inches, actually one day I was at 2 feet, and I was filming it. There's no possible way I can film that rack on a curved surface.
Mm-hmm.
No way. And then the other one is my pictures that I was taking of the Crystal River power plant at 30 inches at 27 miles away and getting damn near the parking lot lights in the picture. And then everybody wants to just tell you, oh, that's refraction. Well, how can you have refraction at night? I'm taking the picture at frickin' midnight. And how can I have refraction of light?
Oh, there's none. There's none in that image. No.
And then I even was brave enough to take my camera off my tripod, put it on a little plastic tablet I had 4 inches off the water, and take a picture of it. And the only difference was it was compressed. That was the only difference between the two pictures. It was compressed.
Yeah, it's a geometric reality that you can see that far, It's amazing.
That's a good proof there, the refraction thing. I've never thought about that before. Like, if they're saying that things are loomed up during the day because of refraction, wouldn't there be a difference in what you see between the day and the night? Like, it should be sort of lifted up more during the day, and then you could take a picture of the exact same thing at night time, and it should be, further down the ball.
But Paige, it's actually the opposite. If I take a picture during the day, sometimes you can't even see the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
But at night, it's nice and clear.
Yes, at night
it's cooler, and you haven't got as much crap. Yep.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, what, 27 or 30? One of the shots.
27.6 miles. And I actually thought that those pictures would go viral across the flat Earth community. It went like crickets.
Right.
Nobody promoted it. None of the big channels even looked at it. It was like, wow, here's some really excellent proof, and it went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So much for the big flat Earth channels is what I say. So much for them. Are they in it to prove that Earth is flat, or are they in it to get their PayPals filled with money?
Yeah, sometimes I think about that, the big channels, there's things that I think, hang on, you guys should be saying, these things, talking about geometry and talking about things like that more. Like,
they don't use any observable proofs. They're always just talking, yap, 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 jaws are flapping, but where's your actual proofs? Your observational proofs?
Like your 27-mile one,
Yeah, and I do all my stuff for absolutely free. I don't charge nothing. I don't ask for people to give me money. It's all free. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to ask for money. Sorry, Bab.
I say the same thing here. I mean, there's lots of people here that have cameras and whatever sort of equipment. Nobody's ever had a GoFundMe for all of that. It's our own equipment.
Yeah.
Like nobody's asked for any money off anybody. Nobody really needs it. Nobody came in here to earn money, as far as I know. None of the genuine people that we know, as far as I know.
Yeah, in this to make money.
I will say this. I had a couple people that begged me. They wanted to give me money. And I said, okay, look, I'll get a PayPal. And I didn't even know how to make a PayPal account. So I got my wife to help me make a PayPal account. They wanted me to get a infrared camera, which, I don't know much about infrared cameras. So nice. I said, all right, so I put my PayPal out there. I got a couple $100. And then I put a couple $100 to it, and I bought the camera. But it's not. I'll tell you what, my P1000 does a hell of a lot better. Even my B700 does better than that damn infrared camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be all right if you were like, I don't know what's his name.
Moon observations would be good with that.
Oh, I want a P900 with get that infrared. I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably do that with my B700 here in another year or two. See if I can get it changed over to infrared. But I'm gonna keep my P1000 normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just too much money for that camera. I mean, it's like $1,000 camera. I don't want to ruin the warranty on it. And once you go infrared, yeah, you can put a polarizer back on it, but I still don't think it's going to be quite the same camera being infrared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's his name? Jay Tolan Media. I don't know what he uses out there, but it looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah, he's got a some kind of program that he runs it through too, which really cleans it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what kind of program he uses, because I even tried to ask him, what was the best camera to get, and he didn't give me a whole lot of information. And then I can't find the lenses that he has on his that fit the one that I bought. I can't find the proper lenses. Nothing fits it.
Yeah, I think he uses like a regular video camera when he's up there in the plane with some kind of infrared piece on it, but it's not like a zoom camera or anything. I guess it's got like maybe a 20 or 30x.
Yeah, it's a 30 to 60. It's 30-60.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, up there it's pretty awesome when you look out. When you take out all that infrared, you take out all that visible light distortion, looking in the infrared spectrum, you don't have to be looking at nighttime. Like nighttime takes away all the visible light distortion because you're looking at night. It's a low level light, ambient, light. You're not seeing a whole lot.
Well, that's why that P1000, when you do these long exposures, it gives me like almost a 2.5 minute long exposure. I set it up to point at the Crystal River power plant, man, and it picks up a lot of the light that's the lights that are shining from the parking lot and the lights that are on the towers. And the rest of it just sticks right out. I mean, it stands out.
Oh, I could see the beach on that shot. That was totally amazing. Absolutely. Yeah, I need to not be a slack ass, and we should do live streams. I got your phone number, and we just need to coordinate something. It's just been a little bit crazy lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has been crazy with all the bullshit going on in our country, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, won't be much longer. Maybe the election.
Yeah, that's what I said too. After the elections, it's all going to go away.
Yeah, just like it never happened, right? Oof,
yeah.
Gone. I know how it is.
But you know what's terrible? It's just not in our country. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's everywhere. It's all over the plane.
Yeah, everybody's affected by U.S. politics. It's ridiculous,
isn't it?
Yeah.
the talk that everybody, like, there's a guy who I go to. We normally go to the pub with him, right? Not that often, but all he talks about is Trump. Literally, everything. Oh, did you see what Trump did? Oh, he's a dickhead. Oh, Trump, and it's like, no, I don't watch telly. That doesn't mean anything to me at all. But he's obsessed by it.
It's not even his president, No. But honestly, it maybe is,
Yeah.
It seems like it's just the U.S. politics just permeates everywhere.
Well, it's like he doesn't like, because he's obviously seeing it from the BBC side, right? The bias is coming from the BBC, so he doesn't like Trump. But still, that's the only thing he talks about.
That's all they talk about here. They just beat Trump up here in the United States. I mean, all the media beat him up. I could care less about any of these politicians. I think they're all criminals.
Yeah, they're not the puppet master, though. They're just puppets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know who the puppet master is.
Yeah, I think so. The old song, Master of Puppets. I love that song.
Yeah, these people like Bill Gates.
The puppet master? Who do you think the puppet master is?
I don't know.
I know who I'd say it is. I'd say it's the Pope.
Yeah, well...
Nah, they're losing it.
I tell you what, you're right. Hit it right on the nose.
Yeah, he's the one that is in control. The Vatican's the one's in control of the birth certificate. So they're in control of all the commerce that's going on in the world, even human, because basically they've put down our worth as living men and women, the ability to work and create things. They've put that down on a piece of paper and used that, and used that to fund their loans and stuff. So the Vatican gets all that paperwork. They hold on to the birth certificates and all that kind of stuff. And they're the ones, the Pope is the one in charge of, I would even go so far as to say they own our soul. They think they own our soul with this. We're dead. They, when your mum signs your birth certificate, your name is in all capitals and she signs in cursive, which is necromancy, talking to the dead, because that capital letter's name is what you would put on your tombstone when you're dead. So in cursive writing, she's signed, which is necromancy. It's amazing when you go, look into what all these things actually mean to them. You just go, holy shit.
Yeah, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Oh, yeah. I believe that more than anything now. Like, there's something else going on. They believe these spiritual things way more than what a normie, does. It's almost as if they've got us to stop thinking about that because they do it, so they don't want us to know what it is they're doing.
Yeah, they want you to think it's all bad, so that you
or it was all in the past, it's all bad, we don't do those kinds of things anymore. Necromancy, that's rubbish, nobody does that. Like, well, no, that's not true. Everybody who signs, your birth certificate, anything, you sign anything with a capital letter's name on it with cursive writing and you're performing necromancy. That's just the way it is. They've got us to think it's something else.
Very well put, Paige. I like the way you put that.
Yeah, I'm sort of going down a huge rabbit hole at the moment with the Templars, and Trump is a Templar knight on a crusade. He's just the next one in the line, in the bloodlines.
But you know what? Who scares me more than anything is Biden. Biden scares me.
He's a freak.
Yeah. Biden. I can't figure out why they've put him, he's so obviously inadequate that it makes me wonder what on earth they were thinking. What is their strategy?
Yeah, he's a sacrificial lamb. It means nothing when he goes down.
I don't think it matters.
It's got to be something like that.
If he does win, he's not going to be there very long, and Kamala will take over. Mm-hmm. And then Pelosi will be vice president. Could you imagine having that witch as a vice president? Oh my God, this country would be.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I don't think it
God
matters.
Help the world then.
I
help
agree
all our little babies.
It doesn't matter.
The same things are going to happen. It's all going to happen like they planned it to happen.
Yeah.
Well, they're following a script. The scriptures, like Pete says. This, whether what's going on is God's timing or their timing, I don't know. But they are forcing things to happen. They have a whole religion based on redemption through sin. So their idea is that you be as evil as you possibly can to fill the whore's cup and force the second coming.
Yeah.
So, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how bad is it to try and force God's hand? Are you serious? You're going to try and force the Creator? You've got to be kidding me.
It's not the God you think it is, actually.
Yeah, their God is. Lucifer, but yeah, they're very strange people, these ones.
Yep, strange and pedophiles. That's for sure.
Yeah, I type Biden.
Yeah, the pedophilias. I mean, I understand that they use sex magic in their rituals, and I know that Crowley says that the innocence of a boy child is the most powerful. Like, the energy that you get from a boy child is the biggest amount of energy, like the most powerful. And for some reason it's doing those things to them that gives them the power. You know, do that and then sacrifice them. And it's just, it makes me think, well, okay, if blood ritual is so important to them and so powerful, and they are able to communicate with Satan or whoever it is they communicate with, then it makes more sense to me why Jesus would have been a blood sacrifice. You know, his blood must have been so much more powerful than our just normal human blood. So if they can get all that power from a human blood sacrifice, then what power did Jesus' sacrifice give, you know?
Well, you've heard of the adrenochrome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is about, the first time I heard about it, it about made me sick, actually. Because it's like beyond me. That I mean, it's just beyond my ability to think about how you could do that to a child. I mean, even babies, and not have any remorse. I mean, what kind of demon
have
people
you heard of blood libel?
No.
Ah, okay. Blood libel is a ritual that the Zionists do every 7 years. They kidnap a Christian child and put its blood in the Passover ritual that they do, and it's called blood libel. You know, this is very well documented.
Hey guys, I gotta bounce
that they do.
I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta bounce.
No worries, Cleary.
Yeah,
right, have a great night, mate.
I've got to go as well, guys.
Yeah, I'm just putting my shoes on to take my dog for a walk too, so I'll be out of here in a minute.